What a day. What a day. I woke up this morning and, you know, it was interesting because got a little rain last night, sat up, watched some TV last night. Caratini traded for by the Brewers. They bring in a backup catcher. I'm thinking, okay. And then as I'm watching the late night reports on the Golf Channel and on the Four Letter Network and such, you see the lights as they begin to fade on Augusta, and we are now about a minute 30 as they got pushed back a little bit because of weather this morning from Tiger Woods teeing off. And what has to be one of the largest crowds ever for a tee off at the first tee box. It has been amazing to watch Tiger in a bright neon pinkish shirt make the walk from the practice range. Then he jumps in the golf cart, goes to the other side of Augusta, where he makes the walk through the crowd. And they've got to be, and I'm not kidding you when I say the crowd there has to be 50 deep. It's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, maybe thousands, sitting around the first tee box as Tiger Woods is about to be introduced to the Augusta crowd. And he's about to tee off. And then, as if that isn't dramatic enough, you've got the Brewers with a light workout yesterday, and they are now in Chicago and getting ready to take on the Cubs on opening day. Welcome to the program. What a day. And then, you've got other things that are happening around, sports as well, just in general. But just is so interesting as today's drama begins. So, and then there is, by the way, according to Adam Schefter, there are 7 offers on the table right now for DK Metcalf in the final year of his rookie deal. And so actually what's going to happen, we'll wait and see. But apparently the Packers are in the mix because, and we all know we all know that they need wide receiver help, and DK Metcalf would be that guy to come in as a veteran. The Packers reportedly, if you want to go by the fictional side of things, as many of the different writers say, this is what the Packers would trade. The 2022 first and fourth round picks, number 28, number 132. So keeping the Seahawks in the top 150 with 2 different picks would be the offer, as Tiger Woods just tees off and immediately realizes that he has gone left and he has found himself beyond the bunker, but still in a little bit of a trap. But the fact that it's not that long ago that we were taking pictures and looking at video and such of a car on its top off a ravine down the hills in California, completely smashed up, and he was being transported to a hospital, is nothing more than miraculous at this point. So we'll keep you updated as to what the leaderboard is at Augusta. But that is one of the offers that could possibly be out there for the Green Bay Packers to trade for DK Metcalf's services. It seems anyway, as if the Packers are involved. Now, whether it actually comes to fruition, we'll have to wait and see. My assumption is, if you're Seattle, John Schneider is not going to give any kind of a hometown discount to the Green Bay Packers. I'll tell you that right now. My assumption, and he's a pretty shrewd dude, so my assumption is that he just sits back, and as we draw closer to the NFL draft, and I'd said this last week, I said it earlier this week, I said in the next week or two, maybe 10 days out, somewhere in there is when you're going to hear about a deal getting done as the Green Bay Packers and as the draft approaches, because teams are going to want to trade away somebody. They are then going to really begin to position themselves for this year's draft to get the best deal they possibly can prior to the end of April. So the next week or two is going to be very indicative as to what the market is going to be. But that being said, Ben, how you doing today, man?
Oh, what a day. I was like a little kid on Christmas Eve last night.
It was, did you just watch Tiger tee off?
I did. I have it. It's on the TV, but the TV in the studio is a little bit too small. And for some reason, the screen doesn't fill it. So it's like a mini TV inside an even smaller one.
Really?
So you can't see anything.
Okay.
But I have it up on
That's
another
bizarre.
window. Yeah.
All right. Well, the Masters is underway. Tiger has now teed off. And like I said before, they pushed a little bit of it back because of weather this morning, because he was supposed to tee off at 9:30, and he tees off a little after 10 a.m. Central Time. But he's off and walking, and says he feels great. He, as good as he possibly can. He feels like he can win. His first tee shot. Tiger has always been known for not necessarily being the most accurate when it comes to drives. Where Tiger has always succeeded is his second and third shot. His shot that only Tiger could do, off of the straw, off of the pine needles, off of the side of the golf course, specifically at Augusta, where he slices it down a fairway, it rolls up the front of the green, and then ends up 3 feet from the cup. That's always been Tiger's kind of charge. Where he lost his game is in the ability to do that consistently. So now he's going to be tested yet again, and we'll see how. And I'm sure, look, his first drive, even Andy North said it, he's got to have some butterflies, big time. And as I sit here and watch him climb up, because it doesn't look that hilly, for lack of a better term, but now that they have the cameras on the ground following Tiger, you can see as Tiger lags behind a little bit, the two caddies with the bags, who are both walking with, big, heavy 50-pound bags on their back. Tiger lags a little bit behind them with that ever so slight limp, the remnants of that car accident, as he then heads up the hill and begins to look at his second shot. So, and we'll keep you up to date all day long as to what Tiger does. So that's where we kind of stand. In the meantime, you've got Caratini, and we kind of figured, do you give David Stearns credit? He came up with Caratini. Not a bad backup. Victor Caratini, obviously they gave up a little bit to get him, but they needed a backup catcher. They wanted to not go into the season with a catching depth issue. So the Brewers go after Victor Caratini and Alex Jackson. They addressed the catching depth the day after Pedro Severino suspended for 80 games, and they sent minor league outfielder Corey Howe and catcher Brett Sullivan to the Padres in exchange for Caratini, and the Brewers landed Jackson from Miami for minor league infielder Hayden Cantrell and pitcher Alex Ramirez. So the Brewers, who open the season today against Chicago, then send Jackson to the AAA affiliate in Nashville, and you go from there. And David Stearns pulls off a pretty solid deal, I guess, for lack of a better term. He figures it out. So nice. Caratini, by the way, a switch hitter. Nothing major. Nothing big out of him. He hit 242, 22 dingers, 112 RBI, and 362 career games with the Cubs. And then in the Padres organization as well. Primarily his played catcher, but has 59 career appearances over at first base as well. Has experience at third base and a little bit in the outfield. A versatile player, a guy that they can use in different situations. But when you look at the 22 homers and 112 RBI in 362 games, not bad numbers, not great, but he's also got experience, and that's what you were looking for. So Caratini is now a member of the Milwaukee Brewers. I'll tell you this, every time you kind of look at a situation and you say, you know what, it's not terrible, hang in there, just if the Brewers can sustain, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, David Stearns, boom, fills the hole. I don't know why I think the Brewers just are going to stand pat and just kind of struggle through it. David Stearns pulls another kind of rabbit out of the hat. And maybe you get Caratini, who's obviously very familiar with the National League Central. Maybe he comes into the situation and excels in Milwaukee, looks at it as an opportunity to really, and to kind of burn his old team. the Chicago Cubs. His first his first day back, he's going up against his former team, the Chicago Cubs. So good stuff there. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, you can call. If you want to find us over on Twitter, you can at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels. You can find us on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/The Bill Michaels Show. You can also track us down on YouTube. Subscribe for free. And many people have done that, and we appreciate it. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. 3 words, put them all together, Michaels, Bill Michaels Show. And just click on subscribe. And when the show comes up, if you're out and about, it can pop up on your mobile device. It can pop up on your laptop, whatever it happens to be. You can also find us on the app on Twitch TV. And you can email the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. That's thebillmichaels@gmail.com. And if you miss any or all of the show and want to go back and listen to it, you can simply Spotify. You can find a Google Podcasts as well, Spotify and Apple iTunes, and plenty of ways to stay up. So got a lot of stuff right out of the chute today. And I had a couple of questions yesterday about that pitching device that the catchers are going to wear. And the question is, do teams have to use that? No, they don't. They don't have to. They can, but they don't have to. If they don't want to do it, if a catcher's not comfortable with it, if a pitcher's not comfortable with it, it's up to each individual. I mean, a catcher can wear it and have one pitcher want to use it, the other pitcher not. You would assume they try to get as uniform as possible, but what you don't want to do, specifically to a pitcher, is throw them off their game in any way, shape, or form. What you want to do is make them as comfortable as possible and give them the most advantage as well. So anyway, that's kind of where we stand. Let's do this. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We got a good lineup today. We got our buddy Kevin Holden from CBS 58, our baseball aficionado. He's going to be joining us. Andrew Wagner is going to be here today. We're also going to talk with Gary D'Amato, long-time golf writer for the Journal-Sentinel. He's been at so many different Masters, it isn't funny. We're going to talk with him about the Masters as well, as that's one of the bigger stories today also. But stay tuned. We got a lot coming up. The Bill Michaels Show continues right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. They're the official beer sponsor of the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network. And don't forget, our opening day broadcast a week from today. We will be live down at Stenny's, second to National Walker's Point, getting you ready for the Brewers home opener. And we'll have some Bloody Marys, some garlic cheese bread, get you on the buses that shuttle you down to the ballpark and then bring you back. And it's going to be a fantastic day and looking forward to it. One of the guys that are going to join us down there will be our buddy Kevin Holden from CBS 58, now joining us on the hotline. Kevin, how you doing? Is he here? Nope, Kevin is at the bottom of the hour. Kevin is coming up here in about 10 minutes. There you go. So we'll get Kevin on the air then. This is from Rick. Rick says, don't you think Metcalf's salary is a problem as far as the trade is concerned? No, I don't. And the reason being is because they're, depending on what you do with them, they still have the ability to clear room. They were willing to pay Devontae Adams. It would only, if they believe Metcalf is about to come to Green Bay, it would only be a matter of time then, you would assume, before you do Jair Alexander's contract, or then you would also restructure Dean Lowry as well, and it would give you additional space. And if you have to do something in the form of a deal for DK Metcalf too, you could probably do that. Believe me, at this point, they'll fit it in. I don't think there's any doubt about it. They'll fit it in because you need them. I mean, it's extremely simple. You need them, period. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Mark says, hey, Unit, did you see that all the Brewers games are going to be televised this year? I saw the story in the Journal Sentinel. Yeah, you know what? They're all going to be televised, which is great, which means every game is going to be on TV. That's fantastic. It's good for me. It's good for you. But, you know, still, the problem exists for many people that are outside of the market that are trying to figure out how to watch it because it's going to be all on Bally's. That's the, you know, that's the issue. The one thing about this, it is going to be Brian Anderson. He's only going to get to about 50 games this year because he's got a national. Brian Anderson, you know, you hope you don't lose him, but he's doing so much, you know, with TNT, TBS, you know, he's done so much when it comes to the NBA postseason, the broadcast with the NCAA tournament. So, and then obviously he's got, you know, other duties with national stuff. The days of Brian Anderson being the main guy for the Milwaukee Brewers are probably limited and fleeting. And I hate to say that because I love having Brian Anderson on the call. But yeah, my assumption is he's got a big time deal with Bally's. He's got a big time deal with TNT and Turner, and he's going to be doing a lot of stuff with the NCAA tournament, the NBA, and such. And yeah, I mean, I hope he stays. I really do. I like Brian. Brian and Bill are good. Here's the one thing that it drives me a little bit nuts. Like, I'm originally from Cincinnati, and it was always George Grand and oh God, I can't remember the color guy's name. It's terrible. And then it was always Marty Brenneman and Joe Nuxall on the radio, or Marty Brenneman, and then once Joe Nuxall passed, then it was the cowboy down there. It was Jeff Brantley. So you always knew what you had. Nowadays, you have no idea. You've got some guys that are only doing home games, some guys that are doing road games, some guys that are doing radio. The minor league guy comes up every now and then. You never know. And you don't really, get a chance to like someone, or if, you got one of the quote fill-in guys, for your main guy that gets 50, 60, 70 games, whatever it may be. It becomes more and more difficult. I don't want to say sound down radio listening or vice versa, but it becomes a little more difficult. So I love the fact, I don't know if you like all the broadcasters the Brewers have or not. I have no idea. But you start really mixing it up. You don't know who you have night in and night out. And I don't know why that should be in any way, shape, or form disconcerting to a viewer and or listener. But for me, there is a comfort always of turning on the ball game and knowing, now I understand Euchre's situation because Euchre's getting older and he's not going to travel as much and such. But there's something to be said for that familiarity night in and night out. But yeah, they are going to broadcast all the games on Bally's. And for those that get it, great. For those that don't, maybe it's incentive for you to get it. I don't know what the methodology is. I certainly would assume that's what they're trying. But yeah, so they're going to mix it up. It's going to be Brian Anderson, Jeff Levering, Bill Schroeder, Sophia Minert. They're going to rotate over on the radio side as well. So it's going to be interesting. Lane Grindle over on the radio side with Euchre. So it's going to be a lot. Going to be a lot going on. And Euchre's 88 years old, don't forget. 88 years old. In his 52nd year of broadcasting games. And they weren't really sure. They weren't really sure if Euchre was going to be on the call today. So I don't know. I haven't found out. But it's going to be interesting to see who's on the call today. So 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Padre Harrington is right now your leader at 1 under par of the Masters. And it's just now waiting to shake out a little bit as Tiger Woods, even after one. There you go. Mark writes, with the addition of catcher, do you think that the position is now solid, or do you think that there's going to be an issue there? Figuring Caratini, not real familiar with the pitching staff. No, come on. It's you get a guy like that up to speed very, very quickly. You bring in a new catcher. It's not like learning the playbook. That day, first of all, your pitching coach, your hitting coaches and such, they have all the scouting reports. They have all of those. So you're not worried about it at all. Again, it's not like you have to, learn a playbook, learn the routes, learn a blocking scheme, anything like that. It's just come in, learn the pitcher for that day, know how to work together, because he's been in the National League. It's not like he's, been on a boat in the China Sea somewhere. Now you feel bad for Mario Feliciano. That was a guy that, for all intents and purposes, was going to be the backup, and he was going to get an opportunity, and now he's back down in AAA. But because he thought he might get the call, but no, it's not going to take Caratini any kind of time at all to become familiar with the batters and the pitching staff. If anything, it's kind of like just call the game the way you would. You're going to have a lot of communication with your pitching coach. Put it that way, for what you want to call. and how you want to work it, and knowing the pitchers and the staff that you're going to be handling. But let's be honest, Narvaez is going to get a yeoman's load. He is not going to be giving up many games, if any, maybe 15, 20 tops through the first 80, something like that. And that's it. 877-867-1670. 7C's Steve says, hey, Unit, where are you going to be watching the game? I'm going to be watching the game right here. Game starts. We're not even off the air yet. Yeah, so when the game starts, we're going to be right here. And by the way, for those of you that are maybe watching the game and still want to listen to the program, don't forget, right now you want to do something. You want to go and download the app. Download the app. Go to WOZN, whatever your app store is, Apple, Android, whatever. Just go to WOZN or The Zone, Madison, and download the app. And then you can click on that and listen to the program. Or just simply go to the website, thebillmichaels.com, and you can click on the Listen Live link. But either way, you can continually listen to the show when many of our affiliates, when they go to Brewers baseball. You still want to hear the pageantry of Brewers baseball. I mean, come on, let's be honest. But nevertheless, that's the way to listen to the show, and we appreciate it. We appreciate it if you want to stay and still pay attention. But I come on, a lot of you are going to be wanting to watch the show. By the way, the Brewers lineup today: Colton Wong leading off, Willie Adames batting second, Christian Yelich third, McCutchen DHing batting fourth, Rowdy Tellez batting fifth, Renfroe sixth, Narvaez seventh, Kane eighth, Peterson ninth, and Corbin Burns on the hip bump. There you go. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. If you got something to say it. Otherwise, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break, come back. Kevin Holden, CBS 58, is going to be joining us. He is going to start hanging out with us coming up next on the Bill Michaels Show.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. The sun is out at Augusta, Tiger, even right now, and all seems right with the world. And you've got baseball today. The lineup has come out for the Milwaukee Brewers. Leading off, playing second, Colton Wong. Shortstop, Willie Adames. Left field, Christian Yelich. The DH, Andrew McCutchen. Rowdy Tellez at first base. Hunter Renfroe in right. Narvaez behind the plate. Kane in center. Peterson at third, and then you got Corbin Burns on the hill. It's Wong, Adames, Yelich, McCutchen, Tellez, Renfroe, Narvaez, Kane, and Peterson. 1:20 first pitch down at Wrigley. Joining us now on the hotline, our good buddy from CBS 58, Kevin Holden, is joining us here. Kevin, how you doing, pal?
Man, this is it. This is the day. Our long winter wait is finally satisfied, and of course, it's not even first pitch of opening day, and I'm already scrambling through a fantasy lineup after hearing you read that lineup because Luis Arias is out today. So I'm making that change right now.
So let's first of all, let's talk about just the Pedro Severino situation, bringing in Caratini. I said, look, every time we kind of think that you're just going to have to kind of live with it, David Stearns pulls off something else. And to pick up Caratini, a guy that's familiar with, obviously, one, Wrigley, playing in the Cubs organization, familiar with the NL Central, I think it's a big get. I mean, it's not huge in the sense that he's going to come in and hit 40 home runs, but I think it's a really assured get.
Yeah, it is the best possible move given the situation. I think is the way it boils down. You have your backup catcher, a guy that you planned on having going into the season, and he goes down like 48 hours before opening day. He's gone, and he's gone for half the year. And you've got to figure something out. And it's a strategic position. And the biggest reason why it is a strategic spot is the Brewers' other two catchers that they had on the 40-man roster at that moment had one combined game of major league experience. And it's just not going to work. There are positions where that can work. It cannot work at catcher, and it can't work for this specific Brewers team. Omar Narvaez is going to need some days. He's going to need a guy to supplant him on those days that can work. And I didn't even really think of Caratini as an option because when Yu Darvish signed with the Padres, Caratini was basically his personal catcher. He brought Caratini along with him to San Diego. So yeah, it's a bit of a coup. And like you said, it's not like that's the team MVP right there. but it's a major hole that was filled and filled about as well as you can with that kind of notice. It's pretty impressive.
Not a great spring training for Brandon Woodruff. Do you have any concern at all? And if not, when would you become concerned?
It would take a little while for me to truly become concerned because we're still in this weird mode. This has gone on for really parts of 3 seasons now, where you had a pandemic that pushed back the start of the season several months. So you had training regimens and so on that were shut down. People got back to some semblance of normalcy in 2021, and then you had the lockout in this last off season that affected workout programs for players. It affected, the ability of players to speak with team doctors, to treat, not just injuries, but just the everyday sort of maladies that happen. And so I think slow starts mean less to me this year than they have in most years. And in Woodruff's case, he's a guy that once it's going for him, once it starts to click for him, I think he's going to be in fine shape. But this abbreviated spring training was just such a hard thing to read something into. You had fewer games and you had more pressure on guys to get ready, especially pitchers to get ready for opening day. So no, at this point, no. If it goes on for a month into the regular season, then yeah, you start to really, wonder about some things. But even if that first or second start is a struggle, it's still cold. It's not too much of a concern just yet.
You got the DH and Andrew McCutchen, an interesting pickup, and I like it. A fact that he's a veteran, he's been there, done that. Coming off though of a year in which he had a career low batting average, but also the most home runs he's hit since 2017. So in his career, he has never had a below average OPS, and picking him up for 300, 400, 500, even depending on how well he does, plate appearances. Do you like that move?
Yeah, there's a lot to like about it. I mean, I think those who are expecting Pittsburgh Pirates Andrew McCutchen are going to be disappointed because that was a few years ago. He's farther along in his career at this point. But I think, as a lot of veteran players do, I think he's making some adjustments. The game right now, and it's happening all up and down the game, is about a raise of power. It's about launch angle and changing the way your swing is and how you make contact with the ball and that sort of thing. And McCutchen's still a good enough player to squeeze 25 homers out of at this point, if he does all of those things right. And then it's just a good addition in that sense. And you remember Curtis Granderson a couple of years ago and what he brought to the Brewers? He was there and it was instantly just better in the clubhouse. Not that there was an issue or anything in the clubhouse, but a good clubhouse can get better with a guy like Granderson and like Andrew McCutchen. I think having him for a whole season is, first of all, Brewers fans are going to absolutely love him. And I think he's just going to make that team just better all the way around. Just a good pickup.
Then you've got, obviously, as you start to go through the rest of the lineup, Rowdy Tellez over at first base. They did not upgrade the first base position. Tellez they bring back, and he's got power numbers. He roasts the ball. What do you think of having him as your everyday first baseman?
It's Rowdy Tellez, I think, is going to be a good contributor at first base. There's a part in my mind that wonders if Keston Hiura continues to hit, if this turns into some sort of, I think platoon is probably the wrong term, because when you hear the term platoon, what ends up happening there is the right-handed batter gets about a third of the at-bats and the lefty gets 2/3 of the at-bats. And I think if Keston Hiura is what he can be, if he's quote back or is able to return to a level of hitting where he was before, they're going to want more than 1/3 of the at-bats out of that first base position for Keston Hiura. So I think if Tellez is playing against every righty and a chunk of lefties, that's still okay. It's not, you're not leading the league over there. But if Keston Hiura is back, I think it flips the other way. I could see 2/3 of the at-bats going to Keston Hiura and then another third to Rowdy Tellez, who I enjoy because he fits that body mold. I'm going to miss, Daniel Vogelbach and just, feeling better about the extra food that I ate today. So it just makes me feel better. That's what it's about, right? Like you play, like Jose Altuve is a short guy that plays great baseball, and I think he's an inspiration for people that are like, well, I'm not 6'6", but I can be a professional athlete. It's the same way. Like, hey, look, I had some extra, bacon and whatever for breakfast, but it's all good. I'm still good.
So let me go with the two obvious, and that is Christian Yelich, Lorenzo Cain. We'll start with Yelich. Yelich did not have a great spring when it comes to power numbers. As a matter of fact, he didn't hit any home runs. He had a couple of doubles, but that was the extent of it. This year is, to me, a prove-it year for Christian Yelich. And how many, if he gets 400, 500 at bats, how many dingers should we expect out of Christian Yelich?
Man, the new Yelich is probably capable of something in the 20s, maybe the mid 20s off of that, low to mid 20s, and it's probably not what fans want to hear. He is, even in his mortal form that he's had since 2020, he's still an above average regular in a lot of different ways. He's still a good player, just not a guy that completely tips the scale in your favor. If he turns into the old Yelich, then it's 35 of those in 500 at bats plus a whole lot of other good stuff. So it could happen, but realistically, if he's somewhere near his 2021 form plus a little, if he makes a little progress, that's probably okay for this team. It's not a difference maker, but it's at least okay.
And then Lorenzo Cain, we know that he's coming into the end of his career. He's even stated it, that this might be it. I know he's got some capability, but I want to see if he's going to actually be able to reach that capability. If he does, things begin to look a little bit different regarding Lorenzo Cain and his use and the way they would platoon the outfield, because you got Tyrone Taylor, who had a tremendous spring. He's waiting in the wings as well. They've got Hunter Renfroe obviously out there, but I think Lorenzo Cain could be an X factor by the time it's all said and done.
Yeah, you're right about it. Here's another case of somebody that essentially lost 2020 to the pandemic, stepped away, opted out, and last year, was back with 8 homers and 13 steals, and the OPS was 730, which is not an eye-popping OPS. It's one of those things where if you could get him back even to 2019 form would be totally fine. That was 11 homers, 48 ribbies. This is an interesting combination because it's also about playing center field, and that goes back to the Andrew McCutchen question. The old Andrew McCutchen would be just fine as a replacement in center field, might be the starting center fielder in that situation, but McCutchen is also a little farther along in his career. So yeah, you could see it falling to, a Tyrone Taylor or somebody like that, but Cain's another veteran, another guy that's going to give a steady presence, a winner in Kansas City and a winner in Milwaukee. And, if he could just do what his capabilities are at this stage, at this age of his career, he's a benefit to the Brewers. And that outfield looks really good if that happens.
Talking with Kevin Holden, CBS 58, talking some Brewers baseball here on opening day. Then the back end of the bullpen pretty much set. Hader, Devin Williams, you start to go through that list. But the rest of the division looks to be somewhat in peril. Even the St. Louis Cardinals already have some issues with Flaherty. They're starting pitcher. He's got bursitis in his shoulder. They're giving him injections. He's going to be out a couple of weeks. So give me your thoughts on the rest of the division, how it stacks up.
It's right now it's a 2-team race in my mind, and like you say, if you're already having issues injury-wise in St. Louis, that's going to be the one thing that they need there the most is health, because they're relying on some guys that have been around a long time. To have Albert Pujols back is fun, but it's also very much a show situation. He'll DH some, he'll get some ABs. He's not a centerpiece for that team now. Molina is probably done after this year, and Adam Wainwright at 40 years old is one of the centerpieces of the rotation, and that's where the concern comes in. If you have an issue there, and you have one with Flaherty who's had issues now for a few years, pitching could turn out to be an issue in St. Louis. Who knew that there was a world where the St. Louis Cardinals had the same pitching problems as the rest of the universe?
Right.
Like, this went on 20 years where it was like, oh, look, here's this guy from AAA, and he pitches like a Cy Young winner off the top. Like, Brewers fans have dealt with that for more than a decade. So if the Cardinals don't have health in pitching, yeah, then there's going to be an issue. And there is no other contender. I don't even see anyone, stepping up and being a surprise in the NL Central. I mean, maybe there's a tiny, tiny chance the Cubs put something together. I wouldn't put any money on that. And the Reds and Pirates are in the wrong direction. They're stuck way back, just floating at the back of the whole thing. So if the Brewers don't just, face plant out of the gate, they've got to be an overwhelming favorite to win the division. And I'm not just saying that because of where we are. It's true.
The teams most likely to be in the NLCS at the end of this season.
Oh, man. You look at that Dodgers lineup, and it reminds me of when I throw the cheat mode on in the video game. And, I say, okay, I like this team that I have, but I'm going to go get these 4 other all-stars from other teams and just add them into what I've got. I mean, it's really crazy. Obviously there's just the most money, all of the money, able to be spent on guys. And that lineup, the depth of lineup, the way that pitching staff looks, I don't know how you could go against the Dodgers as a team that would at least be in the NLCS. I think the Brewers are absolutely capable of that. Pitching is still the name of the game. If you get Burns, Woodruff, Peralta, and even the back end with Hauser and Lauer, and they look impressive, if there's no bumps there, nothing crazy there, they could absolutely be in that mix. I could see the Braves in the mix as well, although there may be some hangover there, after winning the title and then losing Freddie Freeman. Olsen is a good addition for them at first base, but Dodgers Brewers seems like a pretty good NLCS for me.
Good stuff as always, and looks like a week from today we're going to see you.
Oh man, you know it.
Okay.
Opening day here against the Cardinals. That's going to be great. Now, you tell me again.
We're at Stenny's.
Yes, that's right. Okay, yes, we're going to make that happen.
All right, buddy. Appreciate it. I'm going to hold you to it. I'll have food and beverages for you, that's for sure, but I'm going to hold you to it for sure.
I'm going to work on my Rowdy Tellez-esque physique.
Okay. All right, Kevin, we'll talk to you, pal.
Thanks, Bill.
There you go. That's Kevin Holden, CBS 58, joining us for a couple of minutes on the hotline and kind of running through the rest of the team, some of the question marks, the division, the rest of the National League. So there you have it. Good stuff from our buddy Kevin. This portion of the program brought to you by our good friends over there at Quick Trip. And if you're going to do some grilling next week, get out, get those little pork fillets, those bacon wrap pork fillets. 5 of them, 99 cents. They limit you to 5 of them, but you've got something then to go ahead and throw into the tailgate fare, so to speak. But stop off at Quick Trip, get everything you need for the tailgate. You can get the bread and the buns, and you can get the hot dogs, the brats, those pork fillets, all the fixings, all the toppings. You can stop into the beer cave. So many things over there at Quick Trip. Stop in and tell them we said hi, or just grab some of the whatever special it is that day. They've got those cheeseburgers, the rib sandwiches, the double-decker Angus burgers, the ham and cheese. They got all the breakfast sandwiches, whatever it happens to be. Stop into Quick Trip and grab that for yourself as well. Good stuff from our friends over there at Quick Trip. Quick Trip, great sponsor of the program. We certainly appreciate them being a part of it for so long. Going to step away, going to go ahead and take a quick break. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's all coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Your race tickets await at Road America, the Moto America Superbikes, IndyCar, NASCAR, and so much more. Go to roadamerica.com for your tickets right now. Road America, America's national park of speed.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
The brand new addition to the Social House. So if you're going to head over there on Menominee Falls, Brookfield area, you can stop by on Lisbon Road and see Dan Della and the whole staff. And they still have some openings for their Monday Night Golf League if you're interested. So get hold of them over at the Social House, the Social House, over there on Facebook. Find it there. And then if you're going to stop in, you want to play some golf, get some friends together. They've got a Monday Night Golf League if you want to jump in on that as well. Again, the Social House, H-A-U-S, on Lisbon Road in Menominee Falls, thesocialhousepub.com, thesocialhousepub.com. So you heard what Kevin had to say in regards to many of the Milwaukee Brewers. I think Lorenzo Cain, in the final year of his deal, it might be his swan song. He's turning 36 coming up here, was it next week, I think. He missed a lot of the season last year with that hamstring injury, but still finished really well. He's a Gold Glove winner and, hit 279, 333 on base percentage, 435 slugging percentage to round out the year last year. That was after he came back from injury, by the way. So I look at Lorenzo Cain as it only played 78 games, but if he can give you what he gave you at the back half of the season last year, that's a huge boon, man. Hitting 279, 333 on base percentage, 435 slugging percentage. He gave some good numbers last year. Another reason to be optimistic. Completely healthy right now. Knock on wood. Completely healthy right now. When you start to talk about the outfield for the Milwaukee Brewers with depth as well. And Tyrone Taylor waiting in the wings, sitting there trying to get his opportunity as well. So I'm excited about this Brewers team. Obviously, I think to get out of the and Kevin said it best. Don't come out and fall flat on your face. I mean, you don't get me wrong. You love to win a bunch of games. You'd love to have 5 games in the division and just start to separate yourself early on, and then just let everybody play chase and catch up all season long. Okay, that I agree with. But for this team, who I believe is really good, just stable, just steady as she goes. Just get out of the gate, injury-free. Just, get through the first 2, 3, 4 weeks of the season. Get some wins under your belt. Get a lock on that top spot. Battle a little bit back and forth with St. Louis. Get some of these opening days out of the way and just get on with it. And I think they're going to be good. I just, as I go back to what I'd stated earlier, because of the ramp up so fast, the ramp up coming out of the lockup, getting into spring training, getting into games, and then getting to the regular season, I'm more concerned about arms and shoulders, and elbows right now. That's the most concerning thing because of the quick turnaround time. As long as you get through the first month of the season, I think you're going to be good. 877-867-1670. We got an hour down. We got 3 to go. Tiger's off on the course. He's even. You got the Brewers getting ready for opening day. The lineup is out. The skies are gray, and it's windy as hell. Apparently, the winds have kicked up down in Chicago. No longer is it 15 to 25. It's 20 to 45 mile-an-hour winds down in Wrigley. Oh, boy. I heard it last night whipping around the house. I'll tell you that. Big time. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this. Hour number 2 of the Bill Michaels Show. Glad you're with us. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Give us a shout. We'd love to hear from you. Ray Horton has a complaint out. He says Mr. Flores and Mr. Wilkes are joined by Mr. Horton now. Mr. Horton was a longtime NFL coach and defensive coordinator. When he was interviewed for the Tennessee Titans head coaching position in January 2016, this turned out to be a completely sham interview. done only to comply with the Rooney Rule and to demonstrate and appreciate the equal or to demonstrate the appearance of equal opportunity and false willingness to consider a minority candidate for the position. Now, remember, Flores, Wilkes, they have this lawsuit out against the NFL saying, look, you're just interviewing us to interview us. We don't even have a shot at these jobs. He said, indeed, the Titans' all-white ownership and management ultimately hired Mike Mularkey, a white candidate for the head coaching position. Years later in 2020, Mr. Mularkey admitted in a podcast interview that the Titans, quote, told me I was going to be a head coach in 2016 before they went through the Rooney Rule. And so I sat there knowing I was the head coach in 2016 as they went through this fake hiring process, knowing a lot of the coaches that they were interviewing, knowing how much they prepared to go through those interviews, knowing that everything they could do and everything they had no chance of getting the job. The allegations pertaining specifically to Mr. Horton are located now in the amended portion of the complaint filed against the NFL. The NFL, there was as a matter of fact, the New York Attorney General said the NFL promised to change after the Ray Rice incident where he knocked out his fiance. And the New York Attorney General is now going after the NFL as well, which is rather interesting. The shocking video that we all have seen may be coming back to haunt the NFL. Now, 6 attorney generals, led by New York Attorney General Letitia James, calling out the incident, saying nothing has changed in the NFL since 2014. 8 years ago, the video showed Ray Rice attacking his fiancée in the elevator of the New Jersey casino. He was then seen hitting her, dragging her unconscious body from the elevator. He was initially banned for life from the NFL, but that ban was then overturned in court. In 2014, we watched in horror as the video of Ray Rice brutally attacking his fiancée was made public. According to the Attorney General, in the aftermath of that disturbing incident, and to many others, the NFL promised to do a better job, take gender violence seriously, and improve conditions for women within the league. We now know that they did nothing. No woman should ever be subjected to the sort of harassment, disrespect, discrimination, and abuse these brave women have described. The NFL must finally make good on its promise and do better. Pink jerseys are not a replacement for equal treatment and full inclusion of women in the workplace. It goes on to say earlier this year, the New York Times published the reports indicating that dozens of former NFL employees were describing hostile workplaces for women in the NFL. They say they were subjected to repeated viewings of the Ray Rice video, which was first obtained by TMZ. They also say the failure to address these issues violates state, local, and federal anti-discrimination laws, and say that the office is going to investigate all now allegations of harassment. The NFL, and I still am waiting to find out about the hearings on Capitol Hill. At some point, you got to figure something is going to come from this. The NFL, Roger Goodell has some really, even though the NFL remains supreme, okay, they are king of the kings. I mean, big time kings. They are dealing with some really, really serious stuff. You've got the lawsuit for the discrimination when it comes to the Rooney Rule. You've got the lawsuits and the class action and the investigation into the Washington Commanders. Daniel Snyder cooking the books. You've got the Miami Dolphins owner trying to get hit, firing a coach because he doesn't want to lose. They have a, quote, disagreement of philosophies, not wanting to lose, or wanting to lose to be able to get them a better draft choice. It's just, Jerry Jones going, now granted that's a personal issue, but still very public. Jerry Jones being extorted by a woman he claims is not his daughter, so he's paid her $3 million, but nobody can figure out for what. It's just, there is so many. I mean, Roger Goodell is like a hockey goalie right now, just trying to kick save everything coming at him. And I don't feel sorry for him, to be honest. I don't feel sorry at all. But this is real. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on right now regarding the NFL. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670 if you want to hit us up. But and then you've got word that as Pro Football Talk and Mike Florio, take it for what it's worth, says that Tom Brady retired from the Buccaneers. He had the goal of joining the Dolphins. He wanted to become a minority owner in the Miami Dolphins, at least attempting to, possibly going back to Super Bowl week. He was very close to officially joining the Dolphins, initially as a minority owner. The announcement would have been made as soon as the following week, which was the week that preceded Super Bowl, when we reported, as it says in Pro Football Talk, February 28th, that the Dolphins had planned to pursue Sean Payton, Tom Brady package deal. The Dolphins privately acknowledged that they had contacted the Saints about the possibility of hiring Payton. As to Brady, the Dolphins privately acknowledged that there had been discussions about Brady becoming a minority owner of the team. Then came the Brian Flores lawsuit, filed coincidentally or not, the same day Brady retired. The litigation resulted in a plug being pulled on the Peyton Brady plan after Brady became a minority owner. The Dolphins would have then had to indeed acquire the contractual rights to employ Peyton from the Saints. Then the Dolphins would have at some point gotten the rights from the Buccaneers to bring Brady onto the roster, but it didn't happen because the Brady name will continue to hover as a potential addition to the Dolphins. Eventually, he has a close relationship with Bruce Beal, the right-hand man and successor in waiting to the Dolphins owner, Stephen Ross, but there's obviously issues with Ross now. So all of this is going on within the NFL. All of this going on in the NFL right now. How about all of that? How about all of that to deal with? 877-867-1670.
How about the NFL news dumping the people joining Flores' lawsuit the minute Tiger Woods tees off?
Right. Very quietly going by the wayside. Very quietly just saying, oh, by the way, this guy's done this. Just, but timing is everything. They could have done that now, or they could have done it at midnight tonight when they posted something like that and just watched it go by the wayside.
Smart to do it now because everyone thinks there's going to be baseball today. And then when half the games get canceled because it's snowing and rainy and windy,
right? It's
kind of 10 degrees.
Yeah, it's really crappy across the upper Midwest. That's for sure.
Then, focus will come back.
Yeah.
It's like the Masters and MLB is starting today and it was snowing on the way into work.
Right.
And what's going on?
Yeah. I haven't seen flurries here. I saw a little bit of rain earlier, but you guys have some snow out in the Madison area and going to the northwestern portion of the state. That's been some of the other areas that have been hit by some of the snow, the flurries. I don't want to say heavy snow or anything like that, but by some of the flurries, without a doubt. You've got the Red Sox and the Yankees postponed, the Mariners and the Twins postponed. I laugh. Minnesota, right out of the gate, man, postponing games. Right out of the gate. The makeup date for that game, by the way, is tomorrow. For both of them, by the way. The Red Sox and the Yankees will get underway in New York tomorrow, and the Mariners and Twins will get underway in the Twin Cities tomorrow, weather approval. In the meantime, you've got the Brewers and the Cubs. That game should get underway, 1:20 Central Time. The now Guardians and the Royals should get underway down in Kansas City. And the Guardians, by the way, for those that are going, wait, what? That's the new Cleveland name. You got the Pirates and the Cardinals down in St. Louis, the Mets and the Nationals in D.C., Houston out in L.A. taking on the Angels, the Padres and the Diamondbacks. That's in the Dome Stadium. And then you got Cincinnati on the road in Atlanta as the Braves take the stage tonight after winning the World Series. That's 7 o'clock Central Time. And that game, by the way, is going to be nationally televised. So there you go. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. No, the Brewers game not postponed, by the way. So for those that are just tuning in and saying, wait, what? No. The wind is blowing out. The wind is blowing anywhere from 25 to 45 miles an hour at Wrigley. There is some rain expected, some flurries expected, cold weather expected, but as of right now, it should be played. And we're going to talk with Andrew Wagner coming up here in a little bit, and our guy Andrew Wagner actually on the ground down there at Wrigley. So he's covering the Brewers game. So we're going to talk with him coming up here in about 45 minutes, and we'll get the weather forecast and the update as to what's going on down at Wrigley coming up here shortly. So stay tuned for that if you're looking for more Brewers coverage. Boy, there's just a potpourri of stuff. Jason says, hey, Unit, do you think Willy Adames can match what he did last year? Very quietly, he has solidified the infield. Him and Colton Wong have been great up the middle. I like what the Brewers have. They have finally figured out their third base prospects, and now we just need to figure out first base, and this team will be ready to fly. First of all, I think the team's ready to fly now. Willy Adames, very quietly last year, found his groove. Became, hit 20 dingers. Had, 5 of them with Tampa Bay going back, but hit 285, 521 slugging percentage. Played really well. So with just the Brewers, but it played really well. Considered, by many at the time that they picked him up. They're like, I don't know. And then he found his groove at Miller Park, now American Family Field, and off he went. So I agree with you. Between him and Colton Wong, really, really solid. Solid up the gut. No doubt about it. And I like what the Brewers have done as far as putting things together. And people tend to forget that the middle of your infield really is substantial. And with Colton Wong from last year hit 272. Now, granted, he played in 116 games, but 272, 447 slugging percentage. He had the calf injury, which he missed a number of games last year. But he played well. And don't forget, I mean, that you talk about up the gut, between him and Lorenzo Cain, you got some gold gloves there, defensively speaking. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Get out of the chute early and just stay healthy. Just stay healthy. That's it. The first month of the season, wildly careful might be the best. Cautious might be the best way to describe what managers are going to have to do with their lineups through the first month of the season. Just get out of April into May, and like for the Brewers, just be right around the top. If you get off to a fast start and you're light years ahead of everybody else, including St. Louis, great. Otherwise, just get off to a solid start. Slow and steady is going to win the race. You're not going to win everything in the month of April and May anyway. So just keep everybody as healthy as you possibly can, and then worry about it once you get to June, July, and August. Because the Brewers are the better team. The Brewers are the better team. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up after this.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Buy more, save more with a patio door.
Wait, what?
Right now, at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the more windows you buy, the more you'll be saving by adding a patio door.
Miss Della from Pella?
Please, call me Gina.
Okay. Gina Della from Pella? Like, I was told there'd be no math.
Like, that's okay. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin makes it easy. Now through April 30th, when you buy 3 Pella windows, you'll save $500 when you add a patio door. Buy 6, save $1,000 with a patio door. Buy a dozen Pella windows, save $2,000 when you...
Add a patio door?
Correct. And along with 6 full lines of windows, traditional to contemporary, Pella of Wisconsin has financing to fit most any budget.
Awesome.
Buy more, save more with a patio door, but only through April 30th. Set your free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
How we doing? Happy opening day, everybody. Looking for a great place to go, maybe watch the game and, check out some big screens. Check out our friend, maybe a good cigar, maybe a victory cigar. Check out our friends at Nice Ash, theniceash.com. That's theniceash.com, 323 West Main Street, downtown Waukesha. And if you're going to get down there and get yourself one of their many, they've got a huge list of scotches and bourbons and whiskeys and such, and good beverages on hand, including some Pappy down there, as a matter of fact. Grab yourself a good cigar, good victory cigar, as hopefully the Brewers cause the Cubs to fly the L. Love it. Love it. 877-867-1670. By the way, I got a friend of mine, Carmen, who listens to us in the La Crosse area, sent me a video out her back door. And there's some snow on the ground. I'm like, keep it there. I just got rid of all the snow in the area where I live. Keep it there. Don't want it. Don't need it. No. What else do we have here for you? Got a lot of people chiming in. If you want to chime in on the Bud Light live stream, do it. Do it. By the way, Kevin, again, no, the Brewers game not postponed. Not postponed. They're going to play that game. I have not looked at the weather radar, but the last I saw, it was just scattered stuff. So nothing that was going to be nasty enough. Let's see here. Jeff says, Marshfield Quick Trip story last night. Somebody hit a gas pump and the pump started on fire. Then the guy's car started on fire, according to the pictures I saw. Major damage to the pump and the covering area. Well, damn. I did see a buddy of mine posted over on Facebook. He said, well, this is not something you see every day. Apparently, somebody in a white pickup truck went to a Quick Trip, and he's got a video of them pulling out of the Quick Trip, not realizing that the pump handle is still attached to the truck.
Oh, that's happened to me once.
Did it really? You've done that?
But I've done it once, and in my defense, it happened in Jersey, where you don't pump your own gas, which is one of the most ridiculous things in the world.
Really?
But I just I just spaced out. The person put the pump in. I gave them my card. I get the card back, and for some reason, I thought it was done. So then I started driving, and but they have a detachable thing. I
Right.
guess it's common there.
Yeah, they all now have that little that hose between the pump and the actual hose that goes into your car, and it's that it's basically there for that purpose. That if you drive off, that thing breaks, it automatically plugs, gas isn't flying everywhere, and then you're pretty much good to go. So, but yeah, I've seen that a couple times.
Wildly embarrassing. So I
Yeah.
just drove to a different gas station to get gas. I couldn't stay there. Couldn't ask him to put it back in the car after I just drove off. I was like, whatever, I'll leave.
Right. Yeah, a buddy of mine though, he put a video up and he says, it was under the heading of "Don't see this every day." And you see the guy, he comes out, I guess of Quick Trip. What happened? This is what happened. He went in, he started pumping the gas, and then he left his car. He went in, and he's just got his bag of groceries, got in his car, and he drove away, not realizing that he still had forgotten to put the hose, the nozzle, back into the gas pump. And he drove off and was just driving down the street. And my buddy was following him, and this thing's just flopping around in the back, and they're blowing the horn and honking at him. So finally you see him kind of veer away. He pulls off to the side of the road, and my buddy's car keeps going. But yeah, that was at a Quick Trip. Quick Trip taking a beating lately. Chuck says, yeah, I'm a Twins fan. Every year about this time, we wait for it. The notice of, quote, weather-related postponement. They should have built one with a roof. Chuck, I agree. They couldn't. It was their choice was, if they didn't build the roof and the dome itself for the Vikings, they were going to lose the Vikings. That's what Ziggy Wilf wanted. And there was only so much you could go to the taxpayers for. And if they wanted to put a roof on it, the taxpayers said, there's no way. We're not going to pay for that. Because it would have been upwards of $750 million, I think, by the time it's said and done for that stadium. Maybe approaching $1 billion. I don't know. But I remember going through that and watching what was going on up in Minneapolis. And I kept thinking to myself, how in the world are you building this field and not putting a dome on it? It's mind-boggling to me. You have a dome for your football team, but not one for your baseball team. Now, summertime, I understand. It's pretty nice. The temperatures are very similar to what we have here in Wisconsin. It's not like it's playing in Antarctica, for gosh sakes. But this time of year and the end of the season, I remember going to Brewers games at County Stadium. Now, the Brewers weren't very good, but I remember going to Brewers games beginning of the year and end of the year. After opening day, there was nobody there. There was nobody. You're talking 3, 5, 10,000. That's in a 50,000 seat stadium. That is nothing. That looks like 6 people. That is nothing. And it was mainly because of the weather. You get some nice, warm, sunny days. Yeah, that place would fill up, but not very often. Not very often. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. Merlin says, I remember listening to the Brewers back when the Twins were building their new ballpark. Euchre would often mention the fact that the Twins were not building a retractable roof. He just didn't understand why they wouldn't, and see what it did for the Brewers. Merlin, preaching to the choir, man. Preaching to the choir. Can you imagine what our life would be like in the state of Wisconsin if it wasn't for George Petak and that change of vote, where he voted for Miller Park to be built? Guy ultimately lost his job. He was ripped wildly. Ultimately lost his job. But he did the right thing. Can you imagine what it would have been like to lose the Milwaukee Brewers? Can you imagine? That's why when people say, millionaires, I'm not, there is a level of quality of life. There is a level of tax income from the athletes, from the stadiums, from the franchises that trickles down. And I went through this whole laundry list of things that you receive because of some of that money. Whether you get an extra canine unit for a small town, or whether you get an extra squad car, an extra ambulance, or you keep a park open year round, or, you may not notice it in a mass expanse, but you get certain things via quality of life. It just is. Living on the west side of Wisconsin. It is so great knowing after driving 3.5 hours that you're going to see a game no matter what the weather, and it's going to be comfortable. Merlin, 100% agree. 100% agree. That's the reason that the Brewers have been so successful when it comes to putting bodies in the seats as well, because you can come from the shorter drives. You can come from Chicago. You can come from St. Louis, from Cincinnati, from Kansas City, from Minnesota. You can come from many of those areas and know you're going to see a game. No problem. Now, you'd like to enhance the tailgate experience? Absolutely. So if you're coming here, you'd like to be able to sit out in front of American Family Field and fire up the grill, throw the baseball around as an incoming, an opponent, if you will, fan. That's fine. But you still know you're coming to see a game. I'm going on vacation in the middle of July, like I always do. And one of the things that Kristen wanted to do, because we're going to go down to near Cincinnati and see my kids and such, and we're going to spend a weekend or a week with my kids, my grandkids, her kids, everybody. We're all going to get together, friends. And one of the things she wanted to do was take the kids to a ball game. And so I was looking at tickets for Great American Ballpark, and I can secure them, but there's only one day we can go. And the first thing I said was, I'm not buying them yet, because we got to see what the weather forecast is. I'm not going to buy tickets knowing and then have it end up raining and then trying to get rid of those tickets. Here, buy them now. Buy them 2 years in advance. That's fine. Because you're going to have a game. That's the best part about what we have here in the state of Wisconsin. And if you're listening to this program and you're over in Minneapolis, you're going, palm to forehead. What the hell did we do? What the hell did we do? Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Catch all the racing action at Road America. Camping and corporate events available as well. Go to roadamerica.com for all the information. Road America, America's national park of speed.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
How we're looking. Bill Michaels Show. We continue on, and our buddy Scott Grotsky from CBS 58, he is on the ground down there in Chicago. And if you follow me on Twitter, I retweeted it, but he's standing behind home plate, and everybody's bundled up. It just looks terrible. It just looks terrible down there. Ugh. And it's sleeting now. Sleeting on the western portion of the state of Wisconsin. Sleeting. There you go. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. By the way, this portion of the program brought to you by our friends over at New Mail Medical, treating guys with ED all over the state of Wisconsin, well beyond the borders as well. 98% success rate. All but guaranteeing the fact that they can help you out. 98% success rate. And in addition to that, they can help you out. Say, like right now, you're thinking to yourself, boy, I'm geeked up. It's opening day, but yet you could just go to sleep. Maybe it's low T. If you're over the age of 30, stop in, get your numbers checked. They can help you out with that as well. It takes maybe 10, 15 minutes tops. Or the all-in-one weight loss program. I got on it, and I've been doing it, following it. I got to admit, my progress has not been great, only for the fact that I have I'm making a lot of excuses. And I'm like, oh, well, just this today. And eat like crap. Or you go to a late dinner at 9 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden you're eating and then coming home and going to bed, which is not good for you. Anything after 8 o'clock is terrible. So, but I'm still, with the bad habits that I've had as of late, still dropping the poundage. So it works. Stick to it. But I told Kristen, I said, this weekend, we don't have anything planned. She was supposed to be taking off and going to Florida, and turned out she couldn't go, but nothing planned. I said, man, just this weekend is the gym, working out, healthy eating, maybe a little grilling, some meats, protein, stuff like that. Get back on the plan. Not depriving, by the way, but just get back on the plan and do our thing. So just going to be doing that. But if you're looking at yourself right now and going, you know what, I look like I'm smuggling inner tubes, out of a tire factory, then maybe you need to go on the plan as well. Call them 414-455-4451, 414-455-4451. Also, the Brewers put out a picture, which I thought was rather interesting, and I'm going to retweet it. But there is a picture of the Brewers walking into, I guess, Wrigley Field, and there's a sign in the parking lot that says tailgating is not permitted. That's a damn shame. That's a damn shame. There is so many cool things that we have here in our own backyard. So many cool things. And sometimes we take it for granted. But when you get other people from other markets that come into, whether it's American Family Field, Lambeau Field, out to Camp Randall, even though Camp Randall doesn't have the mass expanse of parking spaces and such, everybody finds every nook and cranny out near Camp Randall to be able to tailgate. Hell, there's people even tailgating for some basketball games I've seen before. So, yeah, it is a culture in this area. Like when my friends come to town and they want to go to a baseball game, they've seen Lambeau Field. They've walked through that. But when they come and they tailgate for a Brewers game, they're like, this is amazing. This is something that's just unheard of. They've never heard of tailgating before a baseball game. When they go to games, they go downtown. They'll go to a restaurant. They'll go someplace to grab a bite to eat, maybe a bar. And then they either walk to or drive to the parking garage that's near the stadium, and then they go into the game. Or maybe they hit a bar afterwards. Going to a game to tailgate, they're like, you people should go pro. This is just, this is crazy. But after a long, tumultuous offseason and a lockout that went close to 100 days, finally we are here on opening day of baseball. They're going to kick it off against the Cubs, 1:20 Central Time. And remember, the Brewers won the season series against the Cubs last year, 15-4. Can you just want to take a moment to smile over that? 15-4 over the Cubs last year. 15-4. Brewers come into the opening series with obviously a lot of high hopes of winning the division and getting themselves to and winning an NLCS. And I don't blame them, to be quite honest with you, because I think that this lineup can do it. The Cubs, on the other hand, suck. They finished fourth in the division with players like Javier Baez, Rizzo, Chris Bryant, Kyle Schwarber, all gone now. A lot of questions on that team, big time. The Brewers look a lot the same old, and have added to it with Andrew McCutchen and company, Hunter Renfroe. They've gotten better. The Cubs, they don't know what the hell they are, and I love it. The Cubs today, by the way, their opening day lineup consists of this. You've got Ortega, the designated hitter, leading off. Madrigal playing second base, batting second. Contreras catching, batting third. Happ in left field, batting fourth. Schwindel playing first, batting fifth. Suzuki out in right, batting sixth. Hayward, center field, batting seventh. Wisdom at third base, batting eighth. Horner, the shortstop, batting ninth. And Kyle Hendricks is your starting pitcher. He is on the hill. So there you go. That is the starting lineup for your Chicago Cubs, taking on the Brewers at Wrigley Field later today. But still, I mean, I can't wait. I want to see them, even if they, Mark says, well, what happens after all of this hype if the Brewers lose today? Who cares? It's one game. Who cares? That's why this whole thing about getting to opening day and who's on the opening day roster, and here's how they're going to go through like 50 or 60 different players that are all going to have an opportunity. Right? 50, 60 different players. They're all going to have opportunities. Who cares? Who cares? Just, it's one game, really. By the time it all comes down to the scores, the statistics, everything. Today, the announcements, introductions onto the baselines. Here it is. Applause. Yay. Who cares? It's one game. It's a big game because it kicks off the season, but who cares? If the Brewers win today, it's one game. You are now on top of the division. That gives you the ability to go wire to wire, because you can't go wire to wire if you don't win the first game, right? Unless everybody in your division loses, but since that's not going to happen, the Cubs would be on top. So you win today, you have the opportunity to go wire to wire. Other than that, who cares? It's opening day, man. It's opening day in baseball. It's opening day of the Masters. Good things are happening. I'm excited.
But Bill, what happens when Counsell pulls Burns after 4 2/3 when he probably has a no-hitter?
You know what? I would not. I really think it would be the best. You're talking about a cold weather stadium, and getting off to a fast start for Corbin Burns and trying to make sure you manage pitchers and health. I have no problem with that. Would you?
I agree with you.
If he has a no-hitter through 4 innings, 4 2/3, and he reaches a certain pitch count and Counsell goes and pulls him, our fans are going to scream and yell. Absolutely, I get it. But you would have to be an absolute head-up-your-ass moron to not understand what's going on right now this early in the season on a cold day after a shortened spring training.
Oh, I'm with you. I said that sarcastically.
Okay.
Because we heard it all last season. Plus, it's the first start, obviously, but he's only going to go, 80 pitches, 85?
Right.
So we set the over-under on the morning show today to 4 1/3.
Yeah.
And naturally, he'll be throwing great. He'll have a couple walks. It's like, no hitters intact.
Right. Yeah, if that. I'm not concerned about. If that. But yeah, I agree with you. Completely agree with you. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up, please feel free to go ahead and do so. Again, 877-867-1670. But yeah, there's going to be somebody that's going to go crazy if Corbin Burns gets off to this fast start. God forbid he gets off to a fast start, pitches extremely well, and then the bullpen gives it up. I can't believe they pulled him. That'll be the battle cry. Did you just see that tee-off shot by Tiger Woods in the par 3?
Oh, that was a couple minutes ago.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
okay.
He stuck it to 2 feet, birdied 6. He hit a beautiful shot on 5 from 5's the long par 4 from like 220.
Wow.
Stuck it to 6 feet, had a brutal lip out. Hit a good putt,
yeah, I saw that.
A disgusting lip out. But yeah, he's 1 under. He's in a little trouble on 7, but he looks unbelievably good.
Wow. That's again, watching Tiger Woods, and I know it's opening day. We'll talk more baseball. Andrew Wagner coming up after the top of the hour. And I know it's all baseball, but if Tiger Woods makes the cut, it'll be a major accomplishment. It is what it is. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You want to find us, please feel free to go ahead and do so. David says, what's the temp for the game? It is going to get, David, to a high today of 45 at best, with 25 to 45 mile an hour winds down at Wrigley. And I was watching NBC Chicago on my laptop here, and they had a live look into Wrigley Field. And the flags are stiff and straight out. And it looks like the poles, the flag poles, are doing anything and everything they can just to try to stay upright today. There you go. My buddy Dwayne's covered all. Look, if you've got something at Dwayne's place right now, just be patient. Dwayne just hits me up and he says, customers are going to be burning crosses in my front yard. He said, because I'm incredibly busy, but damn it, I'm going to go home and watch the crew, maybe at a sports bar, just for opening day. Dwayne, you've been crazy busy. Go. If I'm looking for my boat to be ready today, where the hell are you taking your boat today? First of all, it's windy. You're going to have to anchor if you're going to take it out, if you're going to do any kind of fishing at all. And secondly, where are you taking your boat today? You ain't taking your boat nowhere. You ain't taking it anywhere this weekend. Shut up. Let the man go enjoy a day. Dwayne, you take off. Tell all your customers I said so. You're good to go. Now, if you got a big office building that needs all their furniture next Monday, well, you can go deal with that. But anybody that's got a boat cover, boat upholstery or whatever, an awning, a bimini top, you're not putting a bimini top up today. Who are you kidding? That thing will become a sailboat before the day's over. Dwayne, take the rest of the day off. Go watch the game somewhere. Go enjoy some beverages. Go enjoy a little food. Go watch the game. Go enjoy yourself. There you go. Let's do this. We're going to step away, take a quick break, come back. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
They don't repair cracked helmets, cracked teeth, or cracked stadium seats. They do repair cracked windshields. Complete auto glass, windshield repair and replacement, windshield camera recalibration, and more. An insurance-preferred service provider with free price quotes and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Plus, you'll be happy to know you're dealing with a local, family-owned business who understand their Wisconsin neighbors. Complete Auto Glass, repair and replacement. Visit CompleteAutoGlass.com. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
You got to hit it back. Put it in the pocket.
Put it in your pocket. How we looking? Bill Michaels Show. Continuing on. Glad you're with us. Hey, there's a great company right here in the state of Wisconsin called Wabam. W-A-B-A-M. Wabam. Go to getwabam.com. Industrial products, industrial cleaning supply products, janitorial, or if you're like me and you want to use some of this stuff, spray it on the fairing of your bike. Spray it on the car like a ceramic car wax. Bugs just fly off. Nastiness flies right off. Cleans it up. But if you want to get this product, by the way, I get it all the time. People say, where can I get it? I go to getwabam, W-A-B-A-M, getwabam.com. That's getwabam.com. Or, by the way, Wisconsin Harley Davidson carries it. You can go there as well. Go to Wisconsin Harley Davidson, wishd.com, but Wisconsin Harley on Highway 67 in Oconomowoc, just south of the highway. You can get it there too. So go to getwabam.com. Check out all their products. Tell Ryan DeStefano and everybody I said hi. You're going to see them in the Wabam race team out on the short circuits all throughout the state of Wisconsin too. See them race a lot up at Slinger. Looking forward to that season as well up at Slinger Speedway. Go to getwabam.com. Coming up after the top of the hour, our guy Andrew Wagner on the field down there at Wrigley. He's the man on the ground, and we're gonna check in with him and get his thoughts on all of this before it all is all said and done, and get his thoughts on the team, the season, what Wrigley's like. We'll get all of that. Looking forward to that. So all of that coming up. Be good to go. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, by all means, do so. Got something to say? If you're enjoying your day, whatever it happens to be, by all means, give us your thoughts on Major League Baseball and what's happening. This was from Mark. Mark says, give me your thoughts on Christian Yelich. If he gets off to a fast start, do people get off his back? Yes. I mean, what do you want me to say? Right? Yes. But that's what you're hoping for, right? I mean, that's what you expect, is for him to get off to a fast start. There's nothing wrong with that. You want to see the return of Christian Yelich. You want to see the return of the power numbers. That's what you want to see. There's no problem there. I'm good with that. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Give us a shout. 877-867-1670. Yeah, I don't have a problem with pressure, if you will, if you want to call it that. I don't have a problem with pressure on Christian Yelich. Pressure on Christian Yelich is a good thing because that means there's a level of expectation. And look, we didn't set that bar. He did. He had a couple of terrific years in Milwaukee and then garnered that contract. Now, if he would have kept that pace up, his contract could have been something equivalent to what some of the major players, a Mike Trout-esque contract. I mean, he could have gone in that direction. Bryce Harper, he could have gotten that kind of money, but he didn't. He signed for a little bit less and stayed in Milwaukee. That's great, but it's still a big contract. And it's got to be a contract equivalent to the productivity or vice versa. Otherwise, there's always going to be that. First of all, there's the stigma of, what did you really do to earn the contract? I mean, come on, wink, wink, nod, nod. Is he doing something that he should have been doing? And then there's the kneecap. Then there's the back. Did Mark Attanasio buy damaged goods? Or did the goods become damaged after the kneecap issue? Which, will that injury then cause him to never be that Christian Yelich again? I think we just wait and see. The jury's still out. I think we can put a focus on him. We can certainly look at him with a raised eyebrow and say, will you ever be that guy again? I don't buy into the fact that, well, he's, over the age of 30 and he's going to, begin to decline. No, that, guys don't sign declining contracts. They sign big contracts for big numbers and big productivity. You are right to have expectations. But in essence, to your question, if he has a great year, yeah, then you go back to Christian Yelich is our guy. Right on. How we looking? I mean, it's kind of a dumb question, to be honest with you. Coming up, we've got Andrew Wagner. He's going to be joining us. He is down there on the ground in Wrigley, where tailgating around the area is not allowed. And that has gone, that picture that the Brewers posted a little while ago has gone viral, where the sign says no tailgating in these parking lots. And we as Wisconsinites laugh wildly at that notion of not being able to do that. So we're going to talk with Andrew Wagner a little bit about that. And obviously the wind is blowing hard out of Wrigley. Big time. So that's going on down there. Stay tuned. Got a lot more to come. By the way, if you're heading out anywhere today and you want to go watch the games, Sloppy Joe's on Hubertus in Hubertus, and they've got a good Easter brunch coming up. But also, go to Okauchee Lake, Wisconsin Avenue and Okauchee Lake. Smoke on the water. They have got a bank of big screen TVs out in that area. Lake Country, baby. Head out there and check it out. Because Joe and Ellen Hennis, they got the doors open. They're waiting for you to stop on in. Masters on some screens. Brewers on some screens. Oh, it's a banner freaking day. Head on out and tell the gang we said hi. Stay tuned. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show next. We begin on this opening day, Masters first round, Tiger Woods comeback day. Hour number 3 of the Bill Michaels Show. How we're looking. Oh, enjoying the day. Just loving it so far. Just loving it. Welcome back to the program. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Bud Light Seltzer, the hard soda, and Budweiser. And we are going to be live a week from today down at Stenny's, second and National Walker's Point, bringing you the Brewers home opener, all the fun and frivolity of opening day. Plus, they have shuttles. They run down to the ballpark. So if you want to come down and join us for the broadcast, we're going to be down there live and in person. And then, bam, just all you got to do is jump on the shuttle, go to American Family Field, enjoy the game, come back and enjoy the rest of the evening down at Stenny's. And we are brought to you by our friends at Budweiser, the official beer sponsor of Major League Baseball. Joining us now, our good buddy Andrew Wagner on the ground down there in Wrigley. Andrew, what's it like down there weather-wise?
This strange orange orb appeared in the sky just moments ago, in a blue sky. So we're seeking shelter and trying to figure out if this means there's an apocalypse coming.
Well, the big news of the day is the sign that the Brewers tweeted out a little while ago that said no tailgating. So it's illegal to tailgate in Chicago, and people here just can't wrap their minds around that.
Well, what do you expect? They can't even drive, so it's probably good they're not tailgating. Hey-o.
So give me your insight into this team. They had a workout yesterday. Then they winged their way down to Chicago. The 3-game series gets underway. The season gets underway today. So let me ask you this. First of all, what do you expect?
You know what? We were talking about this. I wrote down with one of my fellow reporters, Will Salmon of The Athletic, and the thing that we were talking about was, there's always that cliche every year that opening day is a new chapter, but this doesn't feel like a new chapter. It literally feels like you're turning the page from last year's group because so many guys are returning. So much is the same. Yeah, they've added some pieces here and there, but this is pretty much the same group that ended things last year in the most disappointing way imaginable, and they're coming here gung-ho on getting to a World Series. Like, it's very ho-hum and very business-like. It's kind of like, if you remember, this is apples and oranges, but no. Remember after the Packers fell in the NFC Championship game with the Cowboys, what was that? I think 94, 95. And then they came back that next year, that 96 season, and made that run. Mm-hmm. And you just kind of knew from the very beginning that this is what they're going to do. Anything short will be that's the feeling you get being around these guys right now. They know that they came up way short last year, and they think that they're gonna go past that this year.
The thought is that it's going to be them and LA by the time it's all said and done. I don't know what Atlanta is going to have to do or Philadelphia is going to have to do to play a part of that, but that seems to be the prevailing thought when it comes to whether or not these two teams are going to match up in an NLCS. You're a long way away, as we all know. So, what in your opinion, because I said, look, to me, get out of the first month. Even if you're not leading, just get out of the first month without any arm issues, without any elbow issues or shoulder issues because of the ramped up spring training, the ramped up amount of games, the fact that pitchers didn't get a chance to do as much work. Just get out of the first month injury free, right?
That's exactly it. Health is going to be, as always the case in baseball, health is going to be the biggest thing for the Brewers this year. Forget about what the offense might or might not do. The pitchers need to stay healthy to do what they did last year. The numbers might not be exactly the same, but if you're getting your big three going out there 30 times a pop and getting 25 from your next three guys, you're going to be in really good shape.
So Corbin Burns taking the hill today. I said earlier, and Ben and I were talking about this, if he's got a no-hitter through 4 and Craig Counsell pulls him, you're going to have people go nuts. And I said, if you don't understand why they're pulling him or whatever the pitch count happens to be today, you don't know what the hell's going on. I don't care if he's thrown an absolute perfect game. I'm not leaving that guy out there past, say, 4 or 5 innings tops.
Absolutely. I mean, you cannot, for a team that has realistic, this isn't, and I wrote this morning, this isn't a team that was, thinking, okay, can get to the playoffs and maybe if things go right, go deep. No, they literally believe that they are a World Series team. And you cannot be a World Series team if you don't have absolute stud pitching. You just can't. And you're not going to have absolute stud pitching if you're letting guys go out there on opening day in crappy weather after a short spring and throw 120 pitches, 9 innings. It just doesn't happen. They are too smart with these guys. There's too much science involved. There's too much research involved. You can be upset about it. And I know people are still upset about the no-hitter last year. That's just the way the game is. You can complain about it, and at the end, you're just going to have wasted a whole bunch of breath because it ain't going to change. What's
the biggest acquisition for this team? Is it picking up the new catcher because Pedro Severino goes down because of the 80 games? Is it McCutchen? Is it who is it? Is it Hunter Renfroe? Who's the biggest pickup this season?
I tell you what, Bill, I mean, he was on the roster last year, but I think the biggest pickup will end up being a healthy Keston Hiura and a productive Keston Hiura. Because you're not, what you're going to get out of McCutchen. He's not going to be an everyday player. Caratini's not going to be an everyday player, but a very important player nonetheless. Rosso's going to be important. But look, if Keston Hiura returns to the form that he showed in 2019, that will be the single biggest pickup for the Brewers this year because he has got a bat that can carry a team, and they will need that this year. So, yeah, I know it's not exact, but that to me, when I look at things, that's what the biggest pickup is because they haven't had him now in 2 years.
What about Tyrone Taylor in all of this? Because his spring training, as he sits today, kind of went by the wayside. I mean, everybody noticed it, but the pickup of McCutchen, Renfroe, obviously, he becomes low man on the totem pole in the outfield. Give me your thoughts on Tyrone Taylor.
I think he likes it that way. He likes kind of being under the radar and just going out there and working. This is the thing. He amazes me. Like, if I'm ever having a bad day, I want to go talk to this guy because he takes every single thing that could be seen as negative and finds a positive in it. He knows he's going to get playing time. Obviously, he wants to be an everyday starter, but he knows, having seen what's happened the last couple of years in terms of injuries, in terms of how they manage the roster, he's going to get chances to play on a regular basis. So he just goes about his business. And the amazing thing is, every time he steps in the plate or steps on the field, he seems to make something happen. And that's a hell of a quality, especially for a young guy trying to stay fresh on a day-to-day basis without regular playing time. Like, that's impressive work.
I wanted to ask you also, I want to go back to Keston Hiura for a minute. This, to me, is kind of one of his prove-it years. Let's just say he doesn't get off to a fast start. He does struggle again with major league pitching. Then what?
Then, the good thing is you can still stick him down in the minors and let him work it out and then bring him into camp next year. He won't have any options left, but, you still have like 2 years left on this guy before you have to, cut your losses. So Keston here, they would be a great boon for the team if he reversed the form. But the beauty of it is it won't sink them because the way the roster is designed, the way the offense is designed, at least going into game one on paper, they don't have to rely on one guy to carry it. Now, whether that happens or not, obviously remains to be seen, but they have the ability to overcome one guy not struggling. And as of right now, here it is not, you don't look at him as being an everyday player. He's looked at as a utility guy right now. So you don't need him to go out there and slug a home run every other day. It'd be great, but he basically will have to play his way into the starting lineup. If you see Keston Hiura out there on an everyday basis, that means one of two things. One, 7 guys got kidnapped in a Russian POW camp, or 2, Keston Hiura has been swinging a red hot bat and forced himself into the lineup on an everyday basis.
Talking with Andrew Wagner, by the way. You can find him on Twitter at @byandrewwagner. Now, go back to the 2 biggest question marks this year, and I think we are looking for a prove-it year out of Christian Yelich and possibly the last year of Lorenzo Cain, who really, after coming back from injury last year, performed pretty well. So if you get that for a full season, 272 batting average and all the numbers that go along with it, it's going to be a huge year for Lorenzo Cain. But Christian Yelich is the question mark. Give me your thoughts on him.
I'm not concerned about Christian Yelich. I've said this millions of times, and I know I sound like a broken record. I probably said it in conversation with you. I will never for a second believe that shutdown in early 2020 did not wreck a whole number of ball players offensively and really screw them up to the point where it lasted all through last year. If it was just Yelich struggling, okay. But you look around baseball and look at some of the stars who have really bit it last year. I mean, Cordy Bellinger is the guy I point to all the time. He had a miserable year last year too. He turned it around near the end, but still, Chris Taylor, who had the big moment in the playoffs, like guys that just you expect more of, but stunk. So you go back 2 years, you look at Yelich coming in with that knee issue and then getting started up, then shutting down, then a quick camp, then, just a weird year, then the back issue. Like, things happen, things throw you off. I don't think he's as bad as we've seen the last 2 years. There's no way Christian Yelich is that bad of a baseball player.
Did the lack of
good as he was?
Andrew, did the lack of power in spring training bother you?
A little bit. But at the same time, you're not seeing guys going out there and putting 100% into it. Because we're just like the pitchers, you got your guys aren't going out there swinging 100% either. They're going out there just to get their hacks and get their motion. It's a little concerning, but it's always a different ball game when you're going from spring training into the regular season. And you're, because remember, pitchers aren't throwing regular stuff either. They're not giving you stuff. They're not giving you a lot to hit. So you can look at it and say, okay, this isn't right. But you got to wait and see when the season actually starts against real pitching. If we get to May or June and he still doesn't have the power, then okay, then you start to worry a little bit. But if his other numbers are there, all right. Because remember, he was never really that much of a power hitter before he came to Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm on a day like today, though, with the wind blowing out, maybe a good pop-up will get him on the board,
Yeah, and all it takes is one sometimes. Get that off your back and just say, okay, here we go. It's go time now. So, baseball's such a mental game. You and I know that. Like it's one of those things where you have one good day, that turns into 2 good days, that turns into 3. And if you're in a good spot in the head, you're in a good spot in the plate.
Talk about the bullpen. We know Hader, we know Devin Williams, Boxberger's there, Brent Suter's there. Give me the rest of the bullpen and how it looks to you.
Right now, it looks like it always does. It's going to be a bunch of guys that can come in any situation, any role, any matchup. And those guys are probably not – most of those guys might not be here in about 2 weeks. The Brewers will make as much use of that bullpen and bring fresh arms in there as much as possible. They're going to rotate in and out throughout the year, and that's the way they find success. The beauty is they don't need to rely as much on strong middle relievers because they have starters that can work deep and such a great back end of the bullpen. So a lot of flexibility, and that's a lot of times that's where you win games is flexibility in your relief corps.
Give me your thoughts on Woodruff in the spring training he had. I was asking Kevin Holden about this a little earlier, and Kevin said, give it a month before you have any kind of a worry at all. Do you have any worry about Woodruff in the spring training he had?
No, because this is usually how he looks in spring. And I think it's different this year because that short spring, you saw guys going about their starts differently. Woodruff knows that he stunk, and Woodruff's been talked about how he's come out of the gate slow the last couple of years. It's something he's been working on. So, no, I really don't have much concern. You know what you're going to get out of him. Some guys just take a little while to settle in and find their rhythm and find their groove, and Woodruff just happens to be one of those guys. I think at the end of the year, he'll be right up there in the Cy Young conversation, along with Peralta, along with Burns, and everyone else in the NL.
I was going to ask you about Freddie Peralta. Give me your thoughts there, too, because Freddie looked really good in spring training, I thought.
Yeah, you're kind of excited to see. It's easy to forget how young he is. He's still putting it together. You kind of want to go out there and see, okay, it's kind of like when you have a kid and they're learning how to ride a bike, and you take the one training wheel off, and then they do all right, then you take the second one off, and you get that excitement seeing a young guy harnessing his potential, getting one step closer to fulfilling his potential. You didn't hear a lot about Freddie this spring, which means things are going good for him. Just, another year making progress in his development. The next potential Cy Young winner.
Good stuff as always, and we will see you a week from today as we imbibe and we eat and we be merry and we feast down at Stenny's, okay?
Yeah, I got to come down and pay my tab for my birthday anyway, so that's a great time down there.
All right, bud. Be great. We'll talk to you soon. There you go. That is Andrew Wagner joining us from down at Wrigley Field inside that press box and getting ready for game 1 out of 162 this season. And the Brewers and the Cubs getting underway in about an hour from now. And again, if you want to continue to listen to the program all throughout the rest of the afternoon through its entirety, by all means, there's a couple of ways to do so. One, we're going to stay live over on the fan page. So if you want to follow the Bud Light live stream, we're going to be there the entire time. No problem. You can also download, if you're listening to us via radio, download the app. Download the app. You can listen to the app as well. You can download it on your Apple phone, Android phone, Google phone, whatever it happens to be. Just search whatever your app store is and go to WOZN, The Zone Madison. The Zone Madison, that's our flagship station out of Madison. You can follow the program there. And then if you miss anything and you want to go back and take a listen to it again, you can always do so. We are on Spotify. We are on Apple iTunes. We are on Google Podcasts. I don't usually send you off to the different listening areas, but you can find us on Odyssey. You can find us on iHeart, as we are on 920 in Milwaukee as well. And it's great to be back on in Milwaukee. So for Brewers fans going to the game, you can listen to us there, or maybe going out and about to watch the game somewhere. You can always listen to us there, which is great. So many ways to pay attention to the program. We certainly appreciate it. But I always say you can download the app. You can go to thebillmichaels.com, and there's a listen live link there. Or subscribe to YouTube. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show, and you can catch everything right there as well. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show, and that's another great way to pay attention to the program and watch us on the Bud Light live stream. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Stay tuned. A lot more coming up on this Masters leadoff day, opening day, the baseball season, all that kind of good stuff right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket, this is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Some news coming out of New York. Jacob deGrom is on the 10-day IL with the shoulder issue. Max Scherzer has a right hamstring issue. So things not going well already in New York for the Mets, as they're what they thought would be a pitching stable of staunchness is already showing signs of weakness. Tonight you've got the late game, the Reds and the Braves, nationally televised. That's coming up later on tonight. Obviously, the other game this evening is going to be the Red Sox and the Yankees. Not this evening. I'm sorry, that was postponed tomorrow. And then the Brewers, obviously, today. They've got day games. So for the series with Chicago. And on and off, the sun is coming out and going away and coming out and going away. So as we just heard from Andrew Wagner, basically saying, yeah, the giant orange orb in the sky. Nobody knows what the hell it is. They're seeing it for the first time in a long time. They're just wondering what's going on. But nevertheless. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, please go ahead and do so. By the way, whoever came up with the saying that the rich get richer, probably not talking about NFL owners, but they might as well have been talking about the franchises, because according to the numbers from Forbes, the title of the NFL's richest owner still goes to Carolina's David Tepper. $16.7 billion he has. It's up $2.2 billion from last year, when he was only worth a paltry $14.5 billion. Not only is he the richest NFL owner, but he's also the 8th richest owner of any sports team in the world, making him the only NFL owner to crack the world's top 10 list, according to Forbes. So there you go. There's a good chance if the NFL decided to ever dump the salary cap that the Panthers would then become an unstoppable powerhouse, because he has already said that he would put a bunch of money into it just to win a championship. Also, Stan Kroenke. He's not at the top of the list, but he would rank number 1 if you contacted the net worth of his entire family. The Rams owner married into Walmart. Ann Walton, don't forget, who separately is worth an estimated $9 billion. So the family total would then be close to $20 billion between those two. There you go. When you start to look at the NFL's richest owners. Just over $20 billion, Seattle's Paul Allen, the richest owner in the NFL before he died back in 2018. And the Seahawks, by the way, are now owned by Paul G. Allen, the trust, which is run by Allen's sister, Jody. But you got Jerry Jones, $10.6 billion. Robert Kraft, $8.3. Stephen Ross, the Dolphins owner, $8.2 billion. Shahid Khan, the Jaguars owner, $7.6 billion. Arthur Blank of the Falcons, $7.1 billion. Then you got Steven Biscotti of the Ravens, and it goes down from there. There you go. By the way, no single owner for the Green Bay Packers, therefore, nah, baby, nah. But just when you talk about NFL owners and their estimated value, whew, that's a chunk of change right there. I don't care who you are. It's a chunk of change. And I wonder if that's not money in the bank. That's the one thing people go, it's money in the bank. No, it's not money in the bank. It's not money in the bank. Because the value of the franchises play into that, and you would actually have to sell the franchise to then garner that money and stick it in the account. And I would assume at some point that, you would probably take some payments on that. I don't think you're going to get one check for, $1.5 billion. Maybe it will. Who knows? But I don't think you're going to get one check for that. That's some nice stuff. 877-867-1670. If you want to call the program today, got a comment, question, whatever it happens to be regarding the Masters, regarding the Packers, regarding the Brewers, as they get set to get their season underway, that is fantastic. Bring it. This one is from Jennifer, who says, favorite player is Christian Yelich. I hear all the talk about him. I wish people would lay off. Christian will be just fine. He has got a lot of pressure on him himself. Just by self-imposed pressure, he doesn't need pressure from the media and the fans. That's from Jennifer. How do I respond to this? Jennifer, when you become a professional athlete, there are certain things that come along with it. When you're in your rookie contract, you're trying to prove yourself. There's going to be some adulation. There's going to be some eyebrows raised. There's going to be wonderment about the glass ceiling. How high can you go? Can you break through it? About your talent. There's going to be the word potential listed with you continuously. And then when you finally start to come to the forefront and you go from being a player to a really good player to an MVP, that then comes with a level of expectation. And people expect you when you set the bar, your performance sets the bar at a particular level, people begin to look at you in a certain way. Okay? So when you then go to this level, especially in the game of baseball, where you have these unbelievable you have one season, people go, boy, that was an apparition. Then you do it again. And people are like, whoa, whatever he's done or she's done to get better, whoa. Okay? Now, baseball, going back to the he word, Christian Yelich performed over and above power numbers for a lanky, skinny, Gumby-esque type of figure. And we're all just amazed. We're looking at this guy going, wow, he's on it, right? And then you suddenly tail off. And not only do you tail off, but you plummet. Right after, coincidentally, you sign a big contract. That's when people in the game of baseball will raise an eyebrow. And they will then say, did you do it? Did you earn that money the right way? That's it. And you understand that because baseball has been scattered with performance enhancing drugs, cheating players. They went to Capitol Hill, for God's sakes, to get chastised, to shame the Players Association into finally admitting there was a problem and saying, yeah, maybe we should probably go ahead and test. Otherwise, the American public is going to, one, not believe anything it is that we do, and two, Major League Baseball all of a sudden is looking really seriously at losing that antitrust issue with the government. And you've already got some problems right now with some of these committee groups, such as consumer fairness, when you're talking about a game that should not be tainted, and yet it is, kind of coming down hard on the sport that is paying the players so much money. Maybe we ought to finally do something about it. So, yeah, you have a right to put pressure on players. Players understand that going in. You're right. He puts a lot of pressure on himself. I'm sure he does. But I think people, fans, players have the understanding that with success comes the expectation of success. 877-867-1670. Rich listening to us in Dorchester. Rich, how you doing, man? What's going on?
Good morning, afternoon, long time, first time.
Glad to have you.
I was going to talk about Twin Stadium a little bit. That was built within 16 inches of the property line. They wanted it downtown, and that was all they could do. I have a son that works for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful place, and I go there to watch the Brewers. The cranes actually worked from the inside of the stadium to pour the walls and to put the place together.
Right.
It would not. There wouldn't be no Twins if they wouldn't have done it that way. And I guess it's better. And they wanted it downtown, and of course now first with violence in Minneapolis, that hasn't helped. But they had tried. I know they canceled the opener yesterday already, trying to be upfront with their customers. And that is a problem. But the place does shed water in a hurry because I've been there when it rained, and 15, 20 minutes later they're playing ball again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's well built, drained and stuff, and it's a nice place. If your listeners can get there, they'll enjoy themselves.
Yeah, no, I agree. That field, is it still called Target?
Yeah, it's called Target.
Okay.
And they use all their water to water the field too from the extras there that they're wasting. Mm-hmm. So they try not wasting nothing.
Right. No, I appreciate the phone call. Target Field is a beautiful stadium. Not arguing that at all. I mean, they built that. It's right. It's good. It was the argument. He's right. They wanted it downtown. Then they didn't want it downtown. Then they were going to pay so much money, but a lot of that went to what the Vikings wanted because these two stadiums were coming up at about the same time. Both franchises were vying for money at about the same time, public funding about the same time. They gave everything to the Minnesota Vikings. And the Twins, unfortunately, while the stadium is beautiful, and I will never argue that, it's a really nice place to go and watch baseball. I agree with that. But to look at this and not kind of say, let's afford the same opportunities to our baseball team as we gave to our football team, as people of the state of Minnesota or the city of Minneapolis, just crazy. Just crazy. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Eric just dropped off, but he was asking if the Packers are worth the combination of all the shares owned, what they're worth. That's a great question. I don't know. Are the Packers would be, if somebody would come in and buy the Packers, I got to think an investment group would probably pay, with the stadium renovated. I mean, if you're buying it lock, stock, and barrel, I got to think it's $2 billion. Got to. 1.5 to 2 billion. I got to think that. One of the best, most well-known brands, one of the founders of the NFL, I got to think that it would be worth $1.5 to $2 billion, maybe more. Maybe more. I don't know what the value of all the stocks are. I couldn't honestly tell you. But yeah, that's a good question. But if somebody were to come in and buy it, I got to think it's at least $1.5 to $2 billion, if not more. 2.5, maybe something like that. Because the brand, even though it's in the smallest media market in all of sports, I got to think the brand carries such heavy weight that's what it would be worth. Not that we're going to have to worry about that anytime soon. I just don't think that's going to happen. 877-867-1670. Hit us up, 877-867-1670. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Buy more, save more with a patio door.
Wait, what?
Right now, at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the more windows you buy, the more you'll be saving by adding a patio door.
Miss Della from Pella?
Please, call me Gina.
Okay. Gina Della from Pella? Like, I was told there'd be no map.
Like, that's okay. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin makes it easy. Now through April 30th, when you buy 3 Pella windows, you'll save $500 when you add a patio door. Buy 6, save $1,000 with a patio door. Buy a dozen Pella windows, save $2,000 when you...
Add a patio door?
Correct. And along with 6 full lines of windows, traditional to contemporary, Pella of Wisconsin has financing to fit most any budget.
Awesome.
Buy more, save more with a patio door, but only through April 30th. Set your free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Our buddy Joey Albanese over at Albanese's Roadhouse on Blue Mountain Road. Good Italian food out in Waukesha, but they are also looking for people that want to play some bocce ball on Mondays and Wednesdays. So if you are thinking about possibly joining the Bocce Ball League, get a hold of Joey out there. Albanese's Roadhouse, Blue Mountain Road, Brookfield, Waukesha, right there next to Menards, across the street from Home Depot. I got some bocce ball going on. I have not played bocce ball in a long time, but they have some really good bocce ball courts right in front of the place. So I think there's like 3 or 4 of them. Might be more than that if there's some behind the place. But yeah, if you're looking for something to do and want to get a group together, league together, whatever it happens to be a part of the league, check out Albanese's Roadhouse right there on Blue Mountain Road in Brookfield, Waukesha, right next to Menards, across the street from Home Depot. Stop on in, tell them we said hi. 877-867-1670. I'll say this, Ben. I know you're watching the Masters, and I'm flipping back and forth between that and the Brewers pregame. But Tiger's putting, short of that one lip out, Tiger's putting's been on.
Oh, it's been tremendous. It was weird. They were waiting on 8, that long par 5 for like 15 minutes because Bryson went on a little adventure as he normally does around Augusta, which he called a par 69 last year, which was hilarious. So yeah, and then since then he hit a couple poor shots and made bogey on 8, the par 5, and then another couple poor shots on 9. And had to make that putt for par. But yeah, the flat stick looks great. Kind of makes sense it probably took a while for him to swing again, but the least he could do is putt and chip and all that.
But man, yeah, his putters look pretty good. I mean, a couple of the putts that he's had that I've watched, especially from above the hole, I'm like, oh boy, this is not a good place to be. And you've watched it break a little left, break a little right, end up right back in the middle, and drop right in the hole. So some good stuff for Tiger Woods as
he's played there a couple times before.
Yeah, a couple of times. Yeah, he knows the greens a little bit, but yeah, he's been good. He's been good. What is he right now? Is he even?
Even.
Is he sitting at even?
Tied for 17th.
Even through 9, which is making the cut, by the way things stand right now.
The scoring's not as good as I expected it to be.
I thought it would be. Yeah, I thought it would be better because of the. I thought it would be better because of the rains that had been there the last couple of days. You're seeing a lot of guys that are going for the greens and they're sticking it. You know, they're popping up that little chunk of green that pops up, and the ball maybe moves a foot, 2, 3, possibly, unless you get a lot of backspin. But I thought that the scores would be better but they're not. And that's fine because Tiger's right there. What do they got? Neiman right now is at 3 under. And then there's Berger, Harmon, Willett. I heard you talking about Willett today too, by the way. Is he your long shot pick?
No, Nelson. It's his long shot.
Oh, okay.
I gave him crap for it because Danny Willett hasn't made a cut at the Masters in years. Hasn't hit a good shot in like 5 at least years.
Yeah, it's
like, no, Danny Willett.
Willett is 1 under right now. So I'm just kind of.
It's good for my brand if he does not go low.
Right. Do you have the ESPN Plus to be able to watch this as well?
I have ESPN Plus, but it's also all on masters.com for free.
Oh,
okay. Go to the website. It has all the feeds.
Oh, well, then there you have it. Why screw around with buying something? Now, I've always had all the different, subscriptions to many of the different things that we go to. So I was kind of flipping through on the computer and watching it, different, holes there, but I did not know that was all on masters.com. So, well, there you go.
And then the only sporting event that actually wants people to watch.
Right.
It doesn't make it impossible.
Right.
No hoops, nothing to jump over.
And then obviously there's still, the giant army that is following Tiger, and Tiger right down the middle. He's been hitting fairways too. I think he's hit 5 out of 9 or 7 out of 9 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Or 5 of 7 because 2 of them are par 3s.
Right.
Yeah.
5 of 7.
Yeah, he's been really good.
Yeah, he's been good.
So. My Bryson to miss the cut. That's my pick of the week. And he just bogeyed 10. So that's good.
Oh, oh my goodness. 877-867-1670, 877-1670. Give us a shout if you want to do so. Go ahead and do so. By the way, Anthony says 80 degrees and sunny in Newport Beach, California, watching all the MLB stuff I can get a hold of. MLB TV. Hopefully I get to watch the Brewers versus the Cubs in the urinal that is Wrigley Field later today. That's a good. Since they've renovated Wrigley, I have not been there as a fan. I've been upstairs in the press box, but as a fan, I have not gone. I know people love it. Okay. And it's iconic. I'm not knocking it. I just have never, when you're sitting in your seat and you're watching a game, it's iconic. But when you try to use the amenities and the facilities, it sucks. It just does. Wrigley is Wrigley. It's an old, antiquated stadium. You have to appreciate the nostalgia and enjoy it. And I do. I really do. But it is the last time I was there. Now, this is years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago. The last time I was there, I was down the third base line. I had lower level seats, good seats, maybe a section down past the dugout down the third base line, about 15 rows back. And I was near the aisle, which then goes back into that little tunnel, which then goes down the ramp to all the concessions and such underneath. The line to the bathroom was so long, it came up that ramp, and guys were literally just peeing on the ramp. Just sitting there peeing, just openly, how we looking, all over the walls. So it's never been one of my more favorite places to go. So to call it a urinal is not that, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your description, is not that far off. 877-867-1670. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Your race tickets await at Road America, the Moto America Superbikes, IndyCar, NASCAR, and so much more. Go to roadamerica.com for your tickets right now. Road America, America's national park of speed.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, they got it going on for you. Big time. Think about this. When you add a patio door, you're going to buy more and save more. That's right. Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the more windows you buy, the more you're going to save, and all you got to do is throw in that patio door. That's it. Simple as that. Right now, you buy 3 windows, you save $500 when you add a patio door. You buy 6 windows, you save $1,000. You get where I'm going with this, right? You buy a dozen windows, you save $2,000. All you got to do is buy the patio door. Simple as that. In addition to the unbeaten variety with 6 full line, 2 different vinyl, economic vinyl style windows, the Impervia window, which is strong as, if not stronger than, the fiberglass. And then there's 3 different types of luxurious wood windows. And they have 6 different lines for any budget, different style of financing as well. And all you got to do is buy it right now through the end of the month. Set up that free, F-R-E-E, free consultation today for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Free consultation, and they'll come out to your house. They'll custom, measure everything that you need, let you choose the interior, the exterior, the hardware, what type of screen do you want, roll screen, regular screen, slider window, all that kind of stuff, and put it all together for you. It's really, really, really good stuff. And then after that, all you got to do is sit back, wait. The windows come in. They can install it in as simple as 1 day and get you going and get you ready for the summer. Beautify your home right now, especially if you're looking, even thinking about selling your home. Boy, you get the money back on those things. All you got to do is give them a call, 855-PELLA-WI. That's 855-PELLA-WI, or go to PELLAWI.com. That is PELLAWI.com, and see for yourself everything right here, right now. Good stuff. This is from Mark. Mark says, can't wait for me some Brewers. Going to have you on. He's going to have the unit on, you on, in the background, watching the Brewers game, sipping a beverage, maybe even smoking a cigar if I brave the outside. Thanks for listening, by the way. He's listening in Houstonford on the app, on the Zone app. Nice. Where are you listening from today? Today's one of those days. What are you doing today? Are you home? Is this like doesn't today feel, Ben, like the start of the NCAA tournament type of day? Doesn't it have that feel?
Especially for me, who has the Masters open on
right.
a television and a computer. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm watching the Masters, beautiful weather. The sun has finally come out. The course is now drying out. Tiger's playing, albeit the approach shot just hit the front lip of the green and then rolled back down the hill. But nevertheless, I mean, you got beautiful skies there. Then all you got to do is hit the button and you go to the next one. And you're into the Brewers pregame, which the weather in Chicago is craptastic. But you're looking at, if I'm Brent Musburger, you're looking live at Wrigley Field. Wrigley Field, where they were going through practice, they were going through batting practice. They're now working on the field, getting that thing ready for game time. So you're getting all that together, and so you got baseball, getting ready for some baseball. It has that feel of first day of the tournament type of feel. And now they're showing, I guess it's a blimp or something. Maybe the blimp is flying around Chicago, and the clouds are parting. It's showing spotty clouds, but that iconic Wrigley Field, home of the Chicago Cubs sign out front, as you walk into Wrigley and the introductions and all that kind of stuff, it is what it is. Looking forward to it. Can't wait. But I'll say this: as players are being introduced right now, it is not. They're not out there in parkas. They all have long sleeves on, but they're not out there in parkas. As both teams are now being introduced to the Wrigley Field faithful. And they'll get the game underway probably coming up here just a little after about 1:20 is when it's going to happen. In addition to that, don't forget, coming up after the top of the hour, Gary D'Amato, our guy when it comes to golf of any type, whether it's the state of Wisconsin or the Masters. Gary's been to the Masters so many times it ain't funny. But we're going to talk with Gary D'Amato, golf writer, and we'll talk with him a little bit more about the Masters expectations. Coming up here in the bottom of the next hour, in case you missed it, we sat down and chatted a little while ago with Kevin Holden from CBS 58 in the first hour of the program about this upcoming Brewers season. So we'll get his thoughts on all the different acquisitions, the predictions and such, the expectations, concerns, you name it. We'll talk about that coming up here in a little bit, about 35 minutes away from that. So there you go. 877-867-1670. Rob says, hey, Bill, want to give a shout out to our owner and GM who provided a great experience, entertainment, and culture, and do everything a fan could do to make them a competitive and in contention team. Mark Atanasio. Giving Mark a shout out. Oh, nice tribute to Les Grobstein on the big board down at Wrigley Field. Les Grobstein, long-time contributor to this show, long-time contributor down there for the Score in Chicago, the radio station, the overnight guy. Les Grobstein, such a good guy. Such a good guy. So nice tribute to him up on the big screen in Chicago. This one's from Marcus. Says, no tailgating? I don't get it. In Minnesota. No tailgating in Minnesota either? I didn't see, the two times I've been up to Target Field, I was there as a media member. So I just, you park in the media lot, you go on in. Well, I take that back. One time I parked, the other time I Ubered, so I'm lying. But I never really noticed if you could or could not tailgate at Target Field. I didn't know that either. No tailgating there. How about that? That's a damn shame. Yeah, it's so weird not having a tailgate at some of these other ballparks. Same thing in Cincinnati. You know, when I'll go back down there to see my kids or friends or family or what have you, I've gone there numerous times. And tailgating, unless you're in a private lot, and there are a few of them in the area that are businesses, but unless you're in a private lot, tailgating is illegal in Cincinnati. You'll get ticketed for it. And I tell this to people all the time. They're like, what? Yeah, you get ticketed for it. No kidding. It's for what is our culture here. If you've never been to any other stadium in some of these cities that don't allow it, man, embrace it and appreciate what we have. Because this whole ism, this whole culture is just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic when it comes to the tailgate, the pregame and postgame tailgates. It's awesome. Another hour yet to go. We're going to talk some golf when we come back. Gary D'Amato, longtime golf writer for the Journal Sentinel, is going to join us. If you're looking for a great company globally to work for, Pindel, P-I-N-D-E-L, Precision Global Manufacturing. Doesn't matter what type. If you're looking for a job, so a great company to work for, go to Pindel, Pindel.com. That is Pindel.com, Pindel.com, and see for yourself. Better pay, better benefits, and they help you and educate you along the way. So let's just say one day you want to open your own company. They support that. What company does that? Stay tuned. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next. Welcome back. How we looking? Good stuff. Final hour of the Bill Michaels Show. Bottom of the hour, we're going to hear from Kevin Holden, CBS 58. In case you missed it, going to talk with him about this Brewers opening day game down in Chicago, as well as expectations for the season. As right now, the anthem being played down there in Chicago. And as you heard there at the top of the hour, the Bucks and the Celtics coming up tonight. Big one, because it does have seeding ramifications for the Milwaukee Bucks, so which is solid. In addition to that, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, feel free to go ahead and do so. Again, 877-867-1670. What else do we have here for you? Like I said, Gary D'Amato coming up here momentarily. We'll touch base with him. He is covering the Masters, and you can reach his stuff at wisconsin.golf. That's wisconsin.golf, and read his stuff there. Long-time golf writer, and has covered many a Masters, covered Tiger for years and years and years. So, which is fantastic. And Tiger making a nice showing right now at the Masters. He started off, he was 1 under, and then he went back to even. He struggled a little bit, but for the most part, what an amazing day for Tiger. Nobody's running away with anything. 3 under right now is the leaderboard. So for everything that's going on down at the Masters, Tiger's having a hell of a day. And as he stated coming into this, he's like, yeah, I believe I can win it. He's playing pretty well. He's had a couple of missteps. When you don't hit the fairway and you don't have your recovery shot right on the money, you'll struggle, as we know. But nevertheless, Tiger's been on it. And now the leaderboard is no longer 3 under. It is 2 under. Schwartzel, Neiman, Smith, Lee Westwood, all of them at 2 under right now. All of them at 2 under on the Masters. There you have it. 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, great way. By the way, for those that are getting ready to watch some baseball or listen to baseball, or maybe have turned to baseball, the best way to pay attention to the program, you can find us on the app. I've been promoting this for a while now, but really download the app. All you got to do is on your phone, on your mobile app, whatever it happens to be, WOZN, The Zone Madison. You can find us there over at The Bill Michaels, thebillmichaels.com. And there's a link there that allows you to listen live. You can always pay attention to us after the program as well on Spotify. You can find us on the Apple iTunes link and Google Podcasts as well. You can find us in all of those different facets. There's always YouTube. You can go back and watch the program, listen to the program anytime you want. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. And all the shows are there, as a matter of fact. And you can find all of them in all the episodes. So there's plenty of ways to pay attention to the program. Plenty of ways to pay attention. All you got to do is, download the app or what have you. Again, 877-867-1670. Talk some more baseball coming up at the bottom of the hour. Kevin Holden from CBS 58 will be here, and we'll be chatting with Gary D'Amato coming up here momentarily as we talk some more Tiger, talk some more golf, and all that kind of good stuff on this opening day. It does have a feel. It does have a feel. And this one's from Kathy, who says, "You're right. My husband and I watched the first day of the NCAA tournament. That Thursday was all day games all the time. This one feels just like it." Kathy, appreciate the email. Kathy Schreck. Appreciate the email. Yeah, that's what I was saying before. This has that kind of a feel today. I woke up today. This almost has a Friday feel, for lack of a better term. Almost has a Friday feel. You got baseball getting ready to get underway, and then obviously the Masters. Joining us now on the hotline, our golf writer, our guy that we pay attention to and has been to more Masters probably than Tiger, is Gary D'Amato. Gary, how you been, buddy?
I'm doing good, Bill. How are you?
I'm doing extremely well. So, first of all, as we sit here today and I watched Tiger tee off this morning, just understanding where he was a year ago as opposed to today, what an amazing journey, right?
It really is. I mean, regardless of how he plays, just the fact that he was able to tee it up this week to start the Masters, I think is, nothing short of miraculous, considering where he was, the damage to his leg, the trauma, and what he had to go through, rehab-wise, to just be able to walk again and get back here and play. So, he's playing okay. He got off to a good start, but he made a couple sloppy bogeys to end the front, near the front nine. But he's playing pretty well, and he's even par right now.
So the Masters itself, obviously, is the kickoff really to the golf season for many that really get into the world of golf. So give me some of your thoughts on who we should be paying attention to. I mean, obviously, you've got to the big names, the Dustin Johnsons, Bryson DeChambeau's, all that kind of stuff. Tiger is getting a huge following as well. Is there anybody you're looking at going, you know what, somebody needs to pay attention to this guy?
Yeah, there's a couple guys, and right now they're on the top of the leaderboard, or nearly so. Scotty Scheffler, number one in the world now, kind of snuck up there really quick. Won a bunch of tournaments earlier this year, 3 times, I think, in a 5-week stretch. And he's 2 under par, and he's tied for the lead. And then Cameron Smith, the guy everyone knows for his mullet, the guy from Australia, but a terrific putter. And obviously that's what you need here at Augusta National. And he's 2 under and tied for the lead with 2 other guys. So there's 4 guys at 2 under right now. So a bunch of guys at 2 under, I should say. So those are 2 names. I think they're going to be around on the weekend.
What is the feel at Augusta right now?
It's really been weird because there was like a biblical downpour yesterday. I mean, the last 2 days in a row, they've had to evacuate the course because of rain, and there were just some massive storms that rolled through last night, and then it rained and it was misty this morning. But now the sun's out and it's breezy. And it's supposed to be really cold this week and high of 59 on Saturday. So, like, we're getting all kinds of weather. We're getting 4 seasons of weather here. But the feel is that it's finally back to a regular Masters. No Masters, no fans on the course 2 years ago, very limited fans last year. And finally, we're back to a full gallery and, the full-throated roars that you hear coming through the pines. We're having that for the first time basically in 3 years.
You mentioned that obviously coming out of COVID, limited people that were there. Is this? It seems like every time I go to an event or something happens where we haven't had full fans and what have you from a couple of years ago, it's like this just mad rush, this gush to get there, this anticipate, almost like an electric atmosphere. Do you get that sense at Augusta?
Definitely. I mean, that's normally the vibe, and I would say even more so this year. I mean, when Tiger came out and played his practice run on Monday, he must have had 20,000 people following him. That's not much of an exaggeration. I mean, it was a huge gallery, and just to hear the roars coming up again, it's something we haven't heard for a couple of years, and I think the players are even kind of geeked because they didn't like coming here and playing in front of no fans, and they appreciate the galleries here, the best galleries and the most respectful galleries in golf. So yeah, it feels good and it feels normal and it's exciting again.
How much talk has there been? And by the way, we're talking with Gary D'Amato. You can read his stuff at Gary D'Amato Golf over at Wisconsin.golf as well. How much talk about the words of Phil Mickelson and Phil not being there?
Yeah, that's been a little bit of a, people are talking about it. Players are getting asked about it and are kind of taking the high road. The chairman of the Masters tournament in Augusta National, Fred Ridley, on Wednesday made it clear that Phil Mickelson was not disinvited. He would have been welcome to have come here and played as a 3-time champion of the Masters. We don't know if the tour has suspended Mickelson because they don't announce suspensions. But Masters, has its own protocol, and he would have been welcome to play here. He chose not to. Can't really blame him because it would have been just a firestorm of, I don't think he wanted to put himself through that ringer. Mm-hmm. But, Gary Player came in this morning, after the ceremonial tee shots, and really said, let's stop crucifying Phil. He made a mistake. He said some ugly stuff that he shouldn't have said, but we've all made mistakes, and this guy was on top of the golf world, and now he's buried and he's being crucified, and he should kind of ease up on him. So it's kind of run the gamut of reactions here.
What do you think, or when do you think, do we see or hear from Phil again? Because all we've heard from him is a written apology, and that was it.
Yeah. I mean, who knows if he's been suspended? We don't know how long the suspension is. It could be several months. And then he's got to want to come back. And right now, even if he could come back, he probably doesn't want to. He probably wants to let things die for a while. And, but at some point we're going to see him again. He's going to play in tournaments again. And, then he'll have to face all that scrutiny all over again.
Then there is the talk of obviously the other golf league. How much have guys either bought into that? Because I don't know if necessarily you want to talk about that at the Masters, considering the Masters is this just different level prestige. But how much have guys talked about the possibility of playing in another league?
Yeah, you raise a very good point, Bill. It's the Masters, and I think the players are very, very respectful here to talk about subjects like that. And not too many guys have even been asked about it, and they're really not talking about it here. You'll hear more about it going forward, but this is a special week, and the players really respect, being able to play here and what the Masters is all about. And really, I've hardly heard any talk about that Saudi-backed league at all here this week.
So what do you think? What do you think the projected cut line is going to be by the time it's all said and done come Friday into Saturday?
Yeah, it's really, really hard to say. The weather plays so much of a factor in here, and they can set up the course so that, even par is a very, very good score, which today it looks like it is. I mean, the leaders are 2 under, and they can set it up so guys shoot 65. So it's really, really hard to say. But I would suspect it would be probably a couple over par, probably would be the cut line.
Talking with Gary D'Amato, senior golf writer, Wisconsin.golf, I should say. Find him on Twitter at Gary D'Amato. Can you imagine what the Armies are going to be like on Saturday and Sunday if Tiger makes the cut?
it'll be unbelievable. I mean, CBS has got to love this if he makes the cut, and if he contends, because obviously the ratings will go through the roof. Yeah, it would be. It would be. I mean, he already made one comeback and one right in a couple years ago. And this would be a much bigger comeback because those injuries to his leg were really traumatic, and just to be able to walk and play out here, I think is a victory for him. Of course, he doesn't look at it that way.
To watch him up close and in person, I mean, I do notice, and Ben and I were talking about this yesterday, there's a little bit of a hitch in his giddy up. You can see it's not overwhelmingly visible, but a little bit of what I would consider to be a limp or a little favoring of one side. Do you notice that more significantly when you're watching him on the course?
I did. I followed him on the first 4 holes today, and I watched him walk up to the third green. There's a little elevation going up to the third green, and I watched him walk off the green pretty carefully. And I don't know if it's a hitch, but I don't know if you'd say he's walking stiffly a little bit, but it's not the gait, that he had, before these injuries. So I don't know if he's, how much pain he's in. And I'm watching him right now, and I wouldn't say it's a limp, but it's not the same gait that he had a few years ago. Definitely.
Gary, great stuff. I can't imagine if Tiger's in it on Sunday what the ratings are going to be like, but it's going to be just mayhem there if he's even close to the top of the leaderboard on Sunday. It'll be just bananas. So enjoy it, man, because we don't get the – I mean, I was watching the lead into the Masters today, and they were talking about how he was on top of the world, coming in as a prodigy and as a kid, winning everything, and then obviously the downfall after that Thanksgiving night with Elin and what went on, and then reinventing himself after the surgeries and the pain, and then this – what is the fascination we have with Tiger Woods? But this guy is he the epitome of resilience and everything we want to be?
Yeah, I mean, there's something inside of him. I mean, obviously he's, made some huge mistakes in his life, in his personal life. And he's, why he doesn't hire a driver to drive him around, I'll never know, because he's been in some horrific things with cars.
Mm-hmm.
But he does have something inside him that, Michael Jordan had, that Babe Ruth had, that, Muhammad Ali had. You go down the list of the greatest of the greats, and whatever's inside them to make them be able to come back from adversity and injury and everything, whatever it is, he's got it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Gary, enjoy it, man. I appreciate the time, okay?
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, pal, talk to you later. There you go. Gary D'Amato. You can read his stuff over there at wisconsin.golf. Follow him on Twitter at Gary D'Amato. He is live on the course following Tiger Woods as we speak. And to be able to get him to give us a shout, man, I really appreciate it. But like I said, he's been to more Masters probably than Tiger has. And just to be able to go down there and cover it and walk the golf course, get credentialed for that, see it, breathe it, feel it. What an incredible experience. And great for him to give us a couple of minutes and give us a few drop-ins just to say, he confirms what Ben and I were seeing, that Tiger's got a little bit of a different gait to him, which is expected. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm sitting here picking on it, but it's a realization that this guy went through a horrific accident, had so many screws and pins and things put in his leg just to be able to save the leg, much less to be able to come back from injury. And now he's walking the course up and down the elevations that is Augusta to play in the Masters. It's what an amazing accomplishment just to be there. And now when you look at the leaderboard, as the leaderboard is now, Sun Jae Im is now 3 under par. So that is your leader. Danny Willett at 2 under, along with Cameron Smith, who we had mentioned, Neiman, Scheffler, Schwartzel, all at 2 under par. You've got a host of guys right now, a long list of guys at 1 under, and then Tiger Woods at even par through 10. So he's 3 shots off the pace through 10 on day 1 after coming back for his first tournament, going to the Masters from that kind of a horrific leg injury. It's nothing short of amazing. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Buy more, save more with a patio door.
Wait, what?
Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the more windows you buy, the more you'll be saving by adding a patio door.
Miss Della from Pella?
Please, call me Gina.
Okay. Gina Della for Bella? Like, I was told there'd be no map.
Like, that's okay. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin makes it easy. Now through April 30th, when you buy 3 Pella windows, you'll save $500 when you add a patio door. Buy 6, save $1,000 with a patio door. Buy a dozen Pella windows, save $2,000 when you...
Add a patio door?
Correct. And along with 6 full lines of windows, traditional to contemporary, Pella of Wisconsin has financing to fit most any budget.
Awesome.
Buy more, save more with a patio door, but only through April 30th. Set your free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Glad you're with us today. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Hey, our friend John Atley and the gang at the Water Doctors want to remind you that, yeah, boy, they have the best water softening system out there. The best water softening system. Connecticut. I've talked about it for a long, long time, and I have seen others. I had others. Connecticut, by far, whether it comes to shower heads, taste of water, reverse osmosis, you name it, they've got it, and they are fantastic, and they are the best, period. If you want the best, whether it's renting it, buying it, servicing it, whatever it happens to be, warranty, you name it, they are the best. Call them 262-549-7733, 262-549-7733, or just simply go to H2, the letter O, doctors.com, H2ODoctors.com. And they support veterans through the Custom Canine Service Dog Academy. They're just great people to work with, just fantastic. So get a hold of our friends at the Water Doctors. 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, yeah, boy, go ahead and hit us up. Otherwise, you can watch us on the Bud Light live stream, which is fantastic as always. You can track us down there. Getting a view outside as there's a little bit of sleet, a little bit of rain, a little bit of mix going on. But it's not dampening the spirits that are down at Wrigley Field as the Brewers and Cubs getting underway. That's okay, too. Good stuff there. And hopefully the Brewers walk away with a victory. Coming up here at the bottom of the hour, we're going to be talking with Kevin Holden from CBS 58. He'll be joining us, and you're going to hear his comments regarding the season. We go through the lineup. We go through the list of players, guys that hopefully perform, and some that do, some that don't, all that kind of stuff. So we're going through all of that. By the way, this is the first pitch of the Major League Baseball season. Take a listen.
Hendricks winds it up and fires. And that one is popped in the air for Patrick Wisdom. Runner to his left, the wind playing with it. One pitch and one out. Good start.
There you go. That is the opener. First pitch of the Brewers season, pop out, and then a strikeout. And by the way, Ben, did you hear Euchre? Because I know we split the feeds down there at the Zone in Madison as a Brewers affiliate. Is Euchre doing the game?
Yes, he is.
Euchre is doing the game. Good stuff. The 88-year-old Bob Euchre down at Wrigley Field. Brewers go quietly. 1, 2, 3. Corbin Burns taking the hill. There you go. Well, it's good to know that Euchre's doing the game. I think it would be weird to have an opening day in which Bob Euchre was not. Now, if the Brewers open up, say, in L.A. or in San Diego or San Francisco or something, maybe something like that, maybe then they don't have Bob travel. But I guess, how many more years do you think Euchre does this? 88 years old. I mean, he's had a health scare. His daughter passed away. He had cancer surgery. He's had COVID. He's made it through all of this. And the reason Bob likes to do this is because he feels that being around the guys, being around the clubhouse and such, keeps him young. It keeps you going, keeps your mind going. And he's right. But how many more years do you think you're going to have the pleasure of listening to Bob Euchre? I remember my friend Marty Brenneman, who's in the Hall of Fame. He just retired a couple of years ago from doing the Cincinnati Reds games as the radio play-by-play voice since 1971 or 72. And I remember a conversation he and Bob had. And it was basically, Marty saying, hey, enjoy your life. There comes a time to say, look, I'm going to move on to some other things. And Euchre basically kind of said to each his own, because Euchre's like, look, this is what I enjoy. Now, granted, he doesn't travel the way he used to. It's a lot, walking around airports and all that kind of stuff. But because when it comes to Brewers games, he pulls right into the stadium. He parks inside the stadium, and they take him on a golf cart from his car to the elevator, and then he goes up the elevator and has to walk 50 feet into the press box, and then he's there. So there's not a lot of moving around, not a lot of moving parts to all of that. But when you're on the road and you're walking into hotels, you're walking all over the place, now granted he swims and he tries to stay in shape, but it can be hard on you. So how many more years do we have the pleasure, if many more, if any more for that matter, of hearing Bob Euchre do the games for the Milwaukee Brewers? 877-867-1670. Dustin says, listening to you sitting in the stands at Wrigley Field. Brewers went down 1-2-3. I got an opening day baseball for my son, sharing the experience. Go Brewers. That is from Dustin. Dustin, that's fantastic. Send me a picture. He sent me a picture of him and his son out in front of the Wrigley Field sign and an opening day baseball. That's awesome. But listening to the show, sitting in, it looks like he's maybe 30 rows back behind home plate, which is, for a Brewers fan to be able to get those tickets, that's pretty big. That's pretty big on an opening day. And there's not a lot. I mean, there's a lot of empty seats right now at Wrigley Field for sure. But, man, great picture. Thank you so much for sending. And thank you for listening. That's dedication right there. I don't care who you are. That's dedication. Speaking of dedication, you want to say thanks to those that are in the military. If you're a barbecuer, hey, our friends at Burn Pit Barbecue, burnpitbbq.com. They are based in Racine, Wisconsin. It's a company that opened a couple of years ago. Great sauces, great rubs, and great hot sauces now as well. Go to burnpitbbq.com. It's veteran-owned. Say thanks to them. Great product. It's not just patronizing a product just to patronize it. It's really good. And I've been saying that for a long time. Go to burnpitbbq.com. That is burnpitbbq.com. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. Kevin Holden from CBS 58. You're going to hear his tones next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Hey, Grill, we've missed you. What a better way to treat an old grill friend than by cooking up some tender, juicy 5-ounce bacon-wrapped pork fillets. Oh, man, now just 99 cents each at Quick Trip with a limit of 5. Hey, you've got some serious grill time to make up, and bacon-wrapped pork fillets will warm up every grill's heart. So turn the heat up on your grill mats with 5-ounce bacon-wrapped pork fillets from Quick Trip. Quick Trip. Yeah, we got you covered.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Phil Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Phil Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Phil Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Glad to have you back. Brewers, Cubs scoreless after 1, and we continue on with the rest of the program, and we now get a chance to talk to our good buddy Kevin Holden from CBS 58. This portion of the program brought to you by our good friends over there at Stoley's Hog Alley and Stolzol 109. Stolzol 109, by the way, taking reservations only for the Easter brunch that they have going on. So if you want to head out there, and it's a great place to go for some really, really good food. They've got a big-time brunch going on Easter Sunday. But you got to give them a shout early because they're only taking reservations. So go to Stolzol 109, give them a call. They're in Watertown. Great place. It's only for Stolzol 109, not for Hog Alley. Hog Alley is going to be under construction, but Stolzol 109 taking reservations right now for the Easter brunch, which is going to be fantastic. Kevin Holden from CBS 58 on the hotline. Kevin, what up? How you doing?
Man, this is it. This is the day. Our long winter wait is finally satisfied, and of course, it's not even first pitch of opening day, and I'm already scrambling through a fantasy lineup after hearing you read that lineup because Luis Arias is out today. So I'm making that change right now.
So let's first of all, let's talk about just the Pedro Severino situation, bringing in Caratini. I said, look, every time we kind of think that you're just going to have to kind of live with it, David Stearns pulls off something else. And to pick up Caratini, a guy that's familiar with, obviously, one, Wrigley playing in the Cubs organization, familiar with the NL Central, I think it's a big get. I mean, it's not huge in the sense that he's going to come in and hit 40 home runs, but I think it's a really assured get.
Yeah, it is the best possible move given the situation. I think is the way it boils down. You have your backup catcher, a guy that you planned on having going into the season, and he goes down like 48 hours before opening day. He's gone, and he's gone for half the year, and you've got to figure something out. And it's a strategic position, and the biggest reason why it is a strategic spot is the Brewers' other two catchers that they had on the 40-man roster at that moment had one combined game of major league experience, and it's just not going to work. There are positions where that can work. It cannot work at catcher, and it can't work for this specific Brewers team. Omar Narvaez is going to need some days. He's going to need a guy to supplant him on those days that can work. And I didn't even really think of Caratini as an option because when Yu Darvish signed with the Padres, Caratini was basically his personal catcher. He brought Caratini along with him to San Diego. So yeah, it's a bit of a coup. And like you said, it's not like that's the team MVP right there, but it's a major hole that was filled about as well as you can with that kind of notice. It's pretty impressive.
Not a great spring training for Brandon Woodruff. Do you have any concern at all? And if not, when would you become concerned?
It would take a little while for me to truly become concerned because we're still in this weird mode. This has gone on for really parts of 3 seasons now, where you had a pandemic that pushed back the start of the season several months. So you had training regimens and so on that were shut down. People got back to some semblance of normalcy in 2021, and then you had the lockout in this last off season that affected workout programs for players. It affected, the ability of players to speak with team doctors, to treat, not just injuries, but just the everyday sort of maladies that happen. And so I think slow starts mean less to me this year than they have in most years. And in Woodruff's case, he's a guy that once it's going for him, once it starts to click for him, I think he's going to be in fine shape. But this abbreviated spring training was just such a hard thing to read something into. You had fewer games and you had more pressure on guys to get ready, especially pitchers to get ready for opening day. So no, at this point, no. If it goes on for a month into the regular season, then yeah, you start to really, wonder about some things. But even if that first or second start is a struggle, it's still cold. Like, yeah, it's not too much of a concern just yet.
You got the DH and Andrew McCutchen, an interesting pickup, and I like it. A fact that he's a veteran, he's been there, done that. Coming off though of a year in which he had a career low batting average, but also the most home runs he's hit since 2017. So in his career, he has never had a below average OPS, and picking him up for 300, 400, 500, even depending on how well he does plate appearances. Do you like that move?
Yeah, there's a lot to like about it. I mean, I think those who are expecting Pittsburgh Pirates Andrew McCutchen are going to be disappointed because that was a few years ago. He's farther along in his career at this point. But I think, as a lot of veteran players do, I think he's making some adjustments. The game right now, and it's happening all up and down the game, is about, a raise of power. It's about launch angle and changing the way your swing is and how you make contact with the ball and that sort of thing. And McCutchen's still a good enough player to squeeze 25 homers out of at this point, if he does all of those things right. And then it's just a good addition in that sense. You remember Curtis Granderson a couple of years ago and what he brought to the Brewers? He was there and it was instantly just better in the clubhouse. Not that there was an issue or anything in the clubhouse, but a good clubhouse can get better with a guy like Granderson and like Andrew McCutchen. I think having him for a whole season is, first of all, Brewers fans are going to absolutely love him. And I think he's just going to make that team just better all the way around. Just a good pickup.
Then you've got, obviously, as you start to go through the rest of the lineup, Rowdy Tellez over at first base. They did not upgrade the first base position. Tellez they bring back, and he's got power numbers. He ropes the ball. What do you think of having him as your everyday first baseman?
It's Rowdy Tellez, I think, is going to be a good contributor at first base. There's a part in my mind that wonders if Keston Hiura continues to hit, if this turns into some sort of, I think platoon is probably the wrong term, because when you hear the term platoon, what ends up happening there is the right-handed batter gets about a third of the at-bats and the lefty gets 2/3 of the at-bats. And I think if Keston Hiura is what he can be, if he's quote back or is able to return to a level of hitting where he was before, they're going to want more than 1/3 of the at-bats out of that first base position for Keston Hiura. So I think if Tellez is playing against every righty and a chunk of lefties, that's still okay. It's not, you're not leading the league over there. But if Keston Hiura is back, I think it flips the other way. I could see 2/3 of the at-bats going to Keston Hiura and then another third to Rowdy Tellez, who I enjoy because he fits that body mold. I'm going to miss, Daniel Vogelbach and just, feeling better about the extra food that I ate today. So it just makes me feel better. That's what it's about, right? Like Jose Altuve is a short guy that plays great baseball, and I think he's an inspiration for people that are like, well, I'm not 6'6", but I can be a professional athlete. It's the same way. Like, hey, look, I had some extra, bacon and whatever for breakfast, but it's all good. I'm still good.
So let me go with the two obvious, and that is Christian Yelich, Lorenzo Cain. We'll start with Yelich. Yelich did not have a great spring when it comes to power numbers. As a matter of fact, he didn't hit any home runs. He had a couple of doubles, but that was the extent of it. This year is, to me, a prove-it year for Christian Yelich. And how many, if he, gets 400, 500 at-bats, how many dingers should we expect out of Christian Yelich?
Man, the new Yelich is probably capable of something in the 20s, maybe the mid 20s off of that, low to mid 20s. And it's, probably not what fans want to hear. He is, even in his mortal form that he's had since 2020, he's still an above average regular in a lot of different ways. He's still a good player, just not a guy that completely tips the scale in your favor. If he turns into the old Yelich, then it's 35 of those in 500 at bats, plus a whole lot of other good stuff. So it could happen, but realistically, if he's, somewhere near his 2021 form, plus a little, if he makes a little progress, that's probably okay for this team. It's not a difference maker, but it's at least okay.
And then Lorenzo Cain, we know that he's coming into the end of his career. He's even stated it, that this might be it. I know he's got some capability, but I want to see if he's going to actually be able to reach that capability. If he does, things begin to look a little bit different regarding Lorenzo Cain and his use and the way they would platoon the outfield, because you got Tyrone Taylor, who had a tremendous spring. He's waiting in the wings as well. They've got Hunter Renfroe obviously out there, but I think Lorenzo Cain could be an X factor by the time it's all said and done.
Yeah, you're right about it. Here's another case of somebody that essentially lost 2020 to the pandemic, stepped away, opted out, and last year, was back with 8 homers and 13 steals, and the OPS was 730, which is not an eye-popping OPS. It's it's one of those things where if you could get him back even to 2019 form would be totally fine. That was 11 homers, 48 ribbies. This is an interesting combination because it's also about playing center field, and that goes back to the Andrew McCutchen question. The old Andrew McCutchen would be just fine as a replacement in center field, might be the starting center fielder in that situation, but McCutchen is also a little farther along in his career. So yeah, you could see it falling to, a Tyrone Taylor or somebody like that. But Cain's another veteran, another guy that's going to give a steady presence, a winner in Kansas City and a winner in Milwaukee. And, if he could just do what his capabilities are at this stage, at this age of his career, he's a benefit to the Brewers. And that outfield looks really good if that happens.
Talking with Kevin Holden, CBS 58, talking some Brewers baseball here on opening day. Then the back end of the bullpen pretty much set. Hader, Devin Williams, you start to go through that list. But the rest of the division looks to be somewhat in peril. Even the St. Louis Cardinals already have some issues with Flaherty. They're starting pitcher. He's got bursitis in his shoulder. They're giving him injections. He's going to be out a couple of weeks. So give me your thoughts on the rest of the division, how it stacks up.
It's right now it's a 2-team race in my mind, and like you say, if you're already having issues injury-wise in St. Louis, that's going to be the one thing that they need there the most is health, because they're relying on some guys that have been around a long time. To have Albert Pujols back is fun, but it's also very much a show situation. He'll DH some, he'll get some ABs. He's not a centerpiece for that team now. Molina is probably done after this year, and Adam Wainwright at 40 years old is one of the centerpieces of the rotation, and that's where the concern comes in. If you have an issue there, and you have one with Flaherty who's had issues now for a few years, pitching could turn out to be an issue in St. Louis. Who knew that there was a world where the St. Louis Cardinals had the same pitching problems as the rest of the universe? Like,
right?
This went on 20 years where it was like, oh, look, here's this guy from AAA, and he pitches like a Cy Young winner off the top. Like, Brewers fans dealt with that for more than a decade. So if the Cardinals don't have help in pitching, yeah, then there's going to be an issue. And there is no other contender. I don't even see anyone, stepping up and being a surprise in the NL Central. I mean, maybe there's a tiny, tiny chance the Cubs put something together. I wouldn't put any money on that. And the Reds and Pirates are in the wrong direction. They're stuck way back, just floating at the back of the whole thing. So if the Brewers don't just, face plant out of the gate, they've got to be an overwhelming favorite to win the division. I'm not just saying that because of where we are. It's true.
The teams most likely to be in the NLCS at the end of the season.
Oh, man. You look at that Dodgers lineup, and it reminds me of when I throw the cheat mode on in the video game. And, I say, okay, I like this team that I have, but I'm going to go get these 4 other all-stars from other teams and just add them into what I've got. I mean, it's really crazy. Obviously there's just the most money, all of the money, able to be spent on guys. And that lineup, the depth of lineup, the way that pitching staff looks, I don't know how you could go against the Dodgers as a team that would at least be in the NLCS. I think the Brewers are absolutely capable of that. Pitching is still the name of the game. If you get Burns, Woodruff, Peralta, and even the back end with Hauser and Lauer, and they look impressive, if there's no bumps there, nothing crazy there, they could absolutely be in that mix. I could see the Braves in the mix as well, although there may be some hangover there, after winning the title and then losing Freddie Freeman. Olsen is a good addition for them at first base, but Dodgers Brewers seems like a pretty good NLCS for me.
Good stuff as always, and looks like a week from today we're going to see you.
Oh man, you know it. Yeah, opening
Okay.
day here against the Cardinals. That's going to be great. Now, you tell me again. Where are you?
We're at Stenny's.
Yes, that's right. Okay, yes, we're going to make that happen.
All right, buddy. Appreciate it. I'm going to hold you to it. I'll have food and beverages for you, that's for sure, but I'm going to hold you to it for sure.
I'm going to work on my Rowdy Tellez-esque physique.
Okay. All right, Kevin, we'll talk to you, pal.
Thanks, Bill.
There you go. Kevin Holden, CBS 58. You can get him at 321Q Kevin over there on Twitter. 321Q Kevin over on Twitter. Stay tuned. We're going to wrap it up, give you the update on both the Brewers and the Masters next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Catch all the racing action at Road America. Camping and corporate events available as well. Go to roadamerica.com for all the information. Road America, America's national park of speed.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
A lot of games left this season through the end of the month for the Milwaukee Admirals. If you're looking for playoff hockey, getting ready for some of the good rivalries down the stretch, go to MilwaukeeAdmirals.com. That is MilwaukeeAdmirals.com and see everything that is the hockey action in Milwaukee, UW Panther Arena, and then they venture into the postseason. And this is a good hockey team. I'm excited for them. Go to MilwaukeeAdmirals.com. They got jobbed out of a Calder Cup a couple years ago when COVID hit. They were on their way to one. So hopefully they can get back and do some damage in the postseason. But go to MilwaukeeAdmirals.com. That's MilwaukeeAdmirals.com, and see all the action they still have down there. Hey, another great sponsor, by the way. Speaking of brunches and good food and barbecue and such, Boondocks BBQ and Brew. It's out in Oconomowoc on County Road K. Tom and his staff and everybody out there, Stacy, everybody, they're just good people. So stop out and tell them you heard it here. But they are expanding their deck, their outside presence, if you will, and just a really nice place in a wonderful little bit of a country setting. And when you take your motorcycle ride out there this year, too, it's going to be a really nice place when they expand that patio. They've got an actual outside bar, outside. The original bar from the old building from years ago when it was just a kind of a farmhouse. They got rid of that bar. They picked the whole thing up and moved it outside. It's really cool. So stop out there and see for yourself. Boondocks BBQ and Brew out in Oconomowoc. So let's get you caught up because we've got Masters Golf that's going as we speak. Right now, you have got Tiger Woods, who just got himself a birdie through 13. He is now 2 shots off the pace. Danny Willett, Daniel Berger, Cameron Smith, Yoquan Neiman, Sunjay Im are all at 3 under. You've got a few guys at 2 under and a bunch of guys, including Tiger, at 1 under par. Tiger is through 13. Danny Willett is through 16 at 3 under par. Nobody other than Harry Higgs right now. There's only a couple of guys. Harry Higgs, Garrick Higo, and I think there's one other guy that are right now in the clubhouse. Min Woo Lee shot a 73. He's 1 over. That's it. Everybody else is still out on the course or is yet to tee off. So I take that back. Paul Casey withdrew, and everybody right now is out on the course. So there you go. Everybody's out on the course as I look through how many holes people have played. So there you go. Anyway. That being said, that's your Masters update, and everybody wants to know where Tiger's at. In the meantime, we flip over to Milwaukee Brewers baseball. The Brewers right now, it's no score, although Ian Happ had a ground rule double down the left field line, and then after that, Corbin Burns threw a walk. You got him at first and second, 1 out right now, bottom of the second. Corbin Burns is trying to work himself out of this little bit of a jam. And he's got Jason Hayward at the plate. So that's where things stand regarding the Brewers. And the sun continually tries to peek out just a bit down in Chicago as the winds are still stiff, but the weather not as bad right now anyway as it was originally predicted. It should continue to clear throughout the day and then get a little cloudy and nasty tomorrow. But that's it. They are scoreless. And Corbin Burns, by the way, I thought he got out of it. They're going to be at first and third. Thought he had a ground rule or a double play, but first and third with 2 outs now. First and third with 2 outs. So that's where it stands. That's it. You want to listen to the show in its entirety? Go to Spotify, Apple iTunes. You can also find us over on Google Podcasts, The Bill Michaels Show, and all of those facets. Always find us at thebillmichaels.com. Subscribe on YouTube as well. We'll talk again in 20 hours. Time for us to